Going on, family? How y'all doing? Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. We got Mr. Trev Smooth, Ty from the Shot, Miss Pearl, Sweeney, Trigger Mike, True. Some more folks coming through, but myself, Lapeef JR. Welcome to Lapeef Let's Talk. What's going on? What's going on, family? How y'all doing?
What up?
I'm good.
Yeah, somebody mic. It's hot. Trigger Mike, that was you?
Yeah, that was me. Mike Hot.
Yeah.
What up, Trigger Mike? How you
All
doing, man?
Try it.
What up?
My man.
Check.
Oh, yeah. Turned you down a little bit, man. He was coming in loud and clear. What's going on, Miss Pearl? How you doing? I see you got the ice.
I'm great. Here you go.
I see.
Yeah, Aquarius in the building.
Okay, what's that, Treasure Jewels? I see you, Ty. You look younger and younger, man. I don't know what you got, the fountain of youth, man. Shout out to you, man, and your skincare. It's good to see you guys, man. Happy Thursday to all the folks out there. Great topic for you guys. What's going on, Wayne Goddess? Dancing with Julie. How you doing, ma'am? Did I say Ducey? Ducey? Hope I said your name correct. Caught a live. What up? Good evening, y'all. As you guys come in, hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you catch us on the replay, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe as well. What's going on, Sweeney? Good to see you, brother. Nice to see you back in these YouTube streets. I thought Princella ran your way, man. Now?
Ooh.
Quiet, huh? I got nothing to say. Okay. Sure, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You were coming through real low on my end.
Okay.
So I was trying to see if it was me or does it sound good to everybody else? Because on my end, I barely can hear you guys.
Oh, you can barely hear. Okay, we should have did a sound test with you, man.
Yeah, I was making the adjustments, but I'm here.
Okay. All right. We'll put that down in notes. Make sure we sound checks with True before the show. All right. Well, I can't stall no much longer, man. The topic today is male loneliness epidemic. I know that sound familiar. It's Ty and Miss Pearl, but I got some more audio that's a little different than a discussion that was had. Why young men are struggling right now. Do y'all think young men are struggling?
Yeah, absolutely.
I do.
Okay.
When you say male loneliness epidemic, are we speaking about like they're feeling like they're lonely because they don't have as many qualitative experience with women? Or are we stepping outside of women and saying like men are isolating themselves more and they don't have lack of deep connections with each other as men? And so that's like, those are two different loneliness. Which one are we focusing on? Are we focusing on both or?
Yeah, we're talking about women and everything that surrounds a marriage, all that stuff. They just by themselves. It used to be a time where women were choosing themselves, and now it seems like it's a lot of men choosing themselves now. Seems to be peaceful on that side, but so I got a nice little clip. It's audio. I ain't gonna play the clip because you might get copyright, but it should give some more context in the direction we're going. But you say it is a male lonely epidemic. You do see men are struggling. Okay, Ty, you said they're not struggling. Why is that, in your opinion?
I wanted to understand the context of what the loneliness entails, because men have plenty access to women, and men are, having sex and hooking up with women every day. So the loneliness there, I don't necessarily see it, but as far as like long-term relationships, that might be different. But I feel like you stated, they're choosing to be lonely.
Are they choosing? Okay. So it's a personal choice. It's not that they can, it's that they're choosing to. Okay, you shaking your head. You on the fence about it. Go ahead, Miss Pearl.
I mean, that depends. That's why I asked, like, are we looking quantifiably? Because there are a lot of women that men could be with, vice versa. Women can be with a lot of men as well. But that doesn't mean that we're having, like I said, the qualitative experiences. So they can sleep with a lot of women and still feel drained, still not feel like they're connected, still feel lonely, and physically have somebody that's right next to them. That's why I was just trying to contextually understand, like, are we speaking revolving around women loneliness, quantifiable versus qualitative, or are we speaking about men isolating themselves? And like I said, not having a deep connection and the brotherhood, because that's another level of loneliness. So again, I disagree. I think they have a lot of women. They're gonna always have a lot of access to women, but they're not gonna have as many qualitative experiences.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. Go ahead, Sweeney. What you think, man? You think young men are struggling right now?
I would say that it's probably a combination of both, that men are choosing well, if we're talking specifically about their encounters with the opposite sex, I would say that they're choosing to opt out of dating earlier now. They're less interested in it, but also there is a level of loneliness. But I think you can attribute that to a number of things, from the distancing with social media. I think COVID played a huge part in that, and then yeah, just people kind of not, you know what I mean, not socializing as much as they used to, as far as interpersonal communication and being amongst each other and around each other. Instead, it's more online and things like that. So I would argue that, yeah, I would say that people in general are a little more lonely now than they once were. But they said that young men do have higher rates of reported loneliness than anybody else.
I think y'all, because I talked to a few men and they have conversations with guys that they coach, and just on a reality base and not internet base. They say a lot of men are really struggling with women, and then they are lonely. So I think it is some truth to it. I think we're being misled a lot of times looking at the internet, because it's not telling the whole truth. What you got on this, Trigger Mike? I heard you said it. The men are struggling. Why you think so?
Yeah, I mean, it's someone said it's multidimensional, so it's not just one reason, right? But I've heard Miss Pearl says a bit of it. Sweeney definitely said a bit of it. There's also like a culture thing, and and it's just use the states. We all live in America, right? We are living in a time where the economy and it kind of decentralized men, which is, I guess, in a sense, you can say, okay, well, we prop women up and we made space for them, but we did that at the expense of the men. And you can make a credible case for that. To say, what do you mean at the expense of the men? Well, you don't champion anything men say. You shame men into submission for everything they think and believe. You're going to get this type of isolation from men where they're just going to have to withdraw from society because they're being caged, right? Say something and be canceled, right? So we went through all of these movements sequentially, right? We went through social justice and all men are bad. Then we went through Me Too and people calling you a rapist just for not saying nothing. So I mean, right now it's a lot of men just are dumbfounded. Like, I don't know what to do. There is nothing else they can do except withdraw, because any move they make could possibly get them fired. Will have people thinking something about them that's not true. So yeah, it's multidimensional, but I'm ready to get into the topic. It's a good topic.
Go ahead, True. You got anything to add on this?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think everybody kind of touched on it. It is through advancement in technology, you're going to see people moving about the world differently. So at one time, I think most men just kind of had slots in life where they knew what they had to do. Like, they had to get a job. Eventually, they were going to get a wife, 2.5 kids, what the heck ever. And that was their life. Now we're exploring a multitude of alternative lifestyles. And I don't mean in the rainbow type of way, but you never heard men talk about their feelings or vulnerability 30 years ago, 40 years ago. There was no space for it. So I think just with everything everyone's saying technologically, through the advancement of women and propping them up, which is totally fine, that men are starting to now have time, even though there's more distraction and entertainment, but they're now starting to have more time to think about how they feel. And I think when you really look to your left and look to your right, you start to realize we've probably always been alone, but you had a certain level of distraction. Now you're still in that same lifestyle, but we socialize different online like this, and so on. So That's what I'll say in our land.
All right, go ahead, brother Trev.
All right. I think one thing that we honestly do more often than we should is kind of just relate to this anecdotally. If we look at ourselves, or even sometimes our immediate circles, sometimes we could have an idea of what the world is like and what men are feeling like and everything else. But sometimes it's a lot worse when you start digging into the numbers, or depending on what it is that you do for a living. If you consult some of these men, then yeah, you'll realize it's a lot worse than we wish it was. So men in particular, as far as being lonely in general, it's up about 5% over the last 10 years, which is not too crazy. But if we're talking about men, as far as having a female companion is concerned, if you look at Pew Research, they're talking about 63% of us are single compared to 34% of women, right? So most women are not single, while we have a grave disparity of it. And another thing that you have to pay attention to is where those numbers are coming from. One of the main reasons why there's so many more men single than women is because there's the age gap, because we're talking about men under 30, whereas women have access to men. And secondly, a lot of the females are Eskimo sisters. They are dating the same men. So most of the men that women are paying attention to, who they're interested in, they realize that they have options. So for the men that you like, yeah, a lot of them aren't single. You probably won't think that men are lonely in general, but most of the men that are overlooked on a regular basis are absolutely extremely lonely. And you can tell psychologically. You can tell if you look at deletion rates, just the mental state of men, unfortunately, and it's something that men are usually ignored, and it's never brought to anyone's attention. There are no particular support groups for men like there are for women. We just don't give a damn in real life. That's what it is. It's under our radar, and it's something that most of us, sometimes even men doing well, never pay attention to.
All right, Shane, we're just getting warmed up. Just getting everybody's general opinion about if young men are struggling and the male loneliness. What are your thoughts, man? We can't hear you. Mm-mm.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know what that little button. How does that button keep getting pushed? I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, so like somebody just said, it's hard to see it because you can only go by the people around you, right? But I do see I have heard, some people say who are a lot brighter, who studied this area, say that men are lonely, and I can see that doing what I do. I can see maybe the ones who may be lonely when they get a little older. I can see it probably coming, you know. So it's interesting for Trev. I do have a question for him because one of the things he stated, there aren't enough places to go get assistance for these young men. Who do you think should put those things together? Because what I find is a lot of women are trying to help young men, and it's not working. Like these moms are doing it, and it's just making the situation worse. It's not helping the situation. They're just enabling, and it's just not, working.
If you want me to answer it, yeah. If we're being honest, it should be something that men do, right? Those of us who are doing better should be able. It's nobody who can understand us as much. It's not something we should rely on women for, to be honest. So yeah, that's us as men to take that responsibility and care about each other because no one else will, right? We generally don't get empathy from women anyway, which we're not.
I think we do.
saying.
You get caught. I think it looks different. I don't think you get the help that you necessarily
Well,
need. I think for
when
women,
I say empathy, right? It's not something that it's your fault that you can't give us. It's because you're not a man. You can't give it to us when we're talking about empathy. So that's why I say specifically men.
Mm.
well,
Um, Shan, let me say this. Hey, Shan, long time. That's one facet, right? But I don't want to get too deep into it because I think JR said he's going to play a clip. But as I think more and more about this, I look at how the narrative that people have created around the male loneliness epidemic. And like I said before, it is multidimensional, but it's also developmental. And most men and women have deprived themselves of the certain types of relationships they were supposed to form early in their 20s. And that's why the men are struggling. I'm going to tell you flat out right now, everybody, like, we have it completely wrong. Can we just admit that? People, especially in this community, in our community, they keep saying you got to have it all together before you start a family. That's BS. That's BS. This is what is a factor causing the male loneliness epidemic. My viewpoint is that most men will not have a purpose or drive without a family. Now, then look at what a family entails. Building a family, and then let's say my wife, geez, has a bunch of sisters. And unfortunately, on the dad's side, they're married, but on the mom's side, where she has more sisters, none of them are married. Now, think about this. Aren't their husbands supposed to be my natural friends? Aren't our kids supposed to play together? Aren't these men I'm supposed to trust to keep my kids? We are deprived of the natural bonds and relationships that we're supposed to be forming within the family and community. So when we don't, so think about it this way: the people or the culture or community that fails to create families will suffer the most from this male loneliness epidemic that we're talking about.
All right, Miss Bo, it's on you. And we're gonna go ahead and get into this audio. You think young men are struggling?
Yes, I do. Their older male counterparts are keeping them that way because they keep selling them this fantasy of how women are supposed to be and how men are supposed to be, in this old world definition of relationships, not taking into account that they do not have the same economic opportunities as they used to. Like, even my generation, even when we were younger, they still don't have the same economic opportunities. So yeah, I think that it's their older male counterparts, but they're definitely struggling right now.
All right, whenever you get a chance, check your mic settings too. Yeah, got a little static to it. Make sure it's connected. Make sure it's together. It's been like that a few weeks now. I know. It's all Sweeney's fault. We're gonna go ahead and get into this. It's audio only, man. So make sure y'all paying attention. I know some of you guys like visuals. It's gonna be a still visual. So those attention spans are a little short when it's just a picture. So make sure y'all are listening using those God gift ears of yours. All right. Okay. Hit the like button, man. The likes are low. Everybody hit the like button. That's all I'm asking. I don't need no donations. Just hit that like button. Share the stream if you feel like it. All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
You say that what's happening to men is a 5-alarm fire for men in the United States. Tell us what's going on as you see it.
Well, the statistics are pretty stark. If you walk into a morgue and there's 5 people who've died by suicide, 4 are men. 3 times as like we have a homeless problem and an opiate problem, but what we really have is a male homeless and a male opiate problem. 3 times as likely to be addicted, 3 times as likely to be homeless, 12 times as likely to be incarcerated. More single women own homes than single men. Women in urban areas are making more money. And let me be clear, we should do nothing to get in the way of that. But if our young men continue to flail, our country and women aren't going to continue to flourish. And just a couple of things you brought up, loneliness and then role models. 1 out of 4 men can't name a best friend. 1 out of 7 men don't have a single friend. And what I would say is there's a lot of factors around this, but something to be cognizant of is that...
Can I just stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Is that unusual? Is that new?
It's getting worse. And typically when a man isn't in... Women are relationally more invested or more talented establishing relationships. And typically they use their friends as a means of gaining confidence to enter into a romantic relationship, whereas a man, if he doesn't have a relationship by the time he's 30, there's a 1 in 3 chance he'll be a substance abuser. And also, there's a cartoon Oprah of the poor woman in her 30s that didn't find romantic love, and she's in a big sweater looking out on a rainy day, listening to sad music. What a tragedy. That's a cartoon. The reality is men need relationships much more than women. Widows are happier after their husband dies. Widowers, it's true, widowers are less happy. Women live longer in relationships. They live 2 to 4 years longer. Men live 4 to 7 years longer. So men actually need relationships more. What I would argue, or what I would be cognizant of the fact when you're talking about loneliness, is you're up against the deepest pocketed, most talented companies in the world with godlike technology who are trying to do one thing, and that is sequester you from your other relationships. They're either trying to get you to glued to the phone, and one of the ways they glue you to the phone is by enraging you, elevating content that makes you angry at your neighbor, elevate content that makes you start blaming the other gender or blaming immigrants for your problems.
And this is being done on purpose.
Well, they didn't start out as malicious, but I'm in marketing. We used to think that it was sex that sells. Then the algorithms found something that sells even more in terms of gluing you to a screen, and that is rage. So I'm not suggesting we censor these folks, but they will elevate content. They will figure out your political leanings, your fears, and then start elevating content that enrages you, because enragement equals engagement equals shareholder value. So keep in mind, the amount of time you spend on a screen as a young man, and biologically, your prefrontal cortex isn't as developed as a woman. It doesn't catch up until you're 25. The executive function, the need for dopa, is much more dangerous in a young man. Keep in mind that you will find they are trying to essentially convince you can have a reasonable facsimile of life on a screen. So keep in mind, you are up against a foe that is trying to separate you from the outside world. And very simply, mathematically, the more time you spend on a screen, the less likely you are to have loving relationships, the less money you're going to make, the more likely you are going to be to engage in self-harm, the more likely you are going to blame other people. In sum, the worse your life gets based on how much time you spend on a screen. We are mammals. We are meant to be outside and in the company of others. And we have for-profit companies trying to convince you to go the other way. So you're up against some very significant foes. On the idea of role models, the single point of failure, if you reverse engineered a boy coming off the tracks, is when he loses a male role model through either death, divorce, or abandonment. We have more single-parent homes than any nation in the world other than Sweden. And what's interesting is that girls in single-parent homes have the same outcome, same rates of college attendance, same income as dual-parent homes. A boy, when he loses a male role model, at that moment is more likely to be incarcerated than graduate from college. What it ends up is that while boys are physically stronger, they're emotionally and mentally much weaker. And what we need, quite frankly, is we need more men to step up and fill the void. There are 3 times as many women applying to be big sisters in New York as there are men applying to be big brothers. So we have an obligation to get involved in a young man's life, right? And it's just to summarize here, if we want better men, we have to be better men.
I thought that last statement was so impactful, and that goes back to what Trev was stating, right? That men don't have a space, but that's because men are not making spaces for young boys to have a space. Women make spaces for young girls. Women try to make spaces for young boys. Women try to make spaces for everybody to get healed. Men don't do that. We sit here and we talk about the problems of men and what women need to do better, but men have to step up as the leaders of community, as the leaders of the world, and actually take back charge. If you want change, you have to create it. You have to create a space for it. All of you men that sit on this panel and you talk about how we can do things better and what needs to change, where are the organizations that are being built? Where's your tribe of young men that you're teaching, that you're mentoring, that you're pulling out of these communities and letting them know that they can lean on another man, that they can take advice from another man? Yeah. Because they don't want to take advice from us. Men don't even want to listen to women. Young boys don't want to listen to us either, because like Trev stated, we're not men. They don't even think we can understand the struggle, which we can, right? But that was just such an impactful statement. I feel like, especially in the Black community, that's the main thing that needs to be happening. Constantly pushing for more and more organizations and more substantial men who want to be leaders, who say that they are leaders, who have families, who are married, who are preaching, who are on these podcasts, who have platforms, to be creating organizations for these young boys so that they don't end up in this lonely epidemic that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we can't really do anything about it.
Can I respond real quick? I mean, that guy, I watched the entire interview. I thought that guy, I'm not gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't do that. He is a professor, you know, he is pretty much world renowned for what he does. I think he's an NYU professor. But you just to make it clear from my basis of argument against some of the things that he said, I would have thought he was a psychologist, clinical psychologist, something like a Jordan Peterson. The dude is a professor of marketing. So we have to take what he says and filter it as his perspective. And there are many things that I agree with about his perspective and things that I disagree with. But to Ty's point, because I don't want to negate your point, the one thing that I want us to understand between men and women, when we compare the methods, it's usually equal but opposite, right? It comes natural for women to create those spaces. But what's also interesting is that the very space that boys used to have to thrive and bond with other men is currently under attack in this social culture. Once you attack marriage, once you attack the heterosexual male husband father figure, once you remove him out of the house in mass, what Scott Galloway is actually saying is that affects boys the most. Men not being in the home, because remember, when you say men are supposed to be there and be creating these spaces, this is my phrase that I use. Mentorship cannot replace fatherhood. I cannot go mentor this American culture into submission. I can father my own boy, and a group of fathers can get together and do what's best for the community. It used to be that 2 kids out of 10 didn't have a daddy around, and the other 8 can make up for it. Now that number is much lower, and everybody expects the 2 dads in the neighborhood to do all the work. It does not work like that. Women create spaces because y'all are way more social. Boys are not that, so they play to the point of exhaustion. They play outside. We do rough play. We do sports. That is our bonding mechanisms, right? But it won't happen the exact same way the girls do it. If my dad would have took me to go sit around and kumbaya with a bunch of boys, I'd have threw up on the floor. Ew, that's disgusting. We don't do that. I need to play. We need to be fighting, fist fighting, slap boxing. That's what we do. And fathers being taken out of the home was the biggest detriment to male bonding that has ever happened in the history of the world.
I agree with you, Trigger, but now that that is our reality, how do we fix it, right? How do we fix it instead of complaining about it? If, like you stated, you guys cannot kumbaya the way you stated, as women can, but you can through sports, you can through boxing, you can through physical activity. There should be more programs like that. I don't understand having a mentality that you can only worry about your child is continuing the problem. You have to worry about other children because they don't have that. And mentorship, let's be honest, it doesn't replace a father, but it does help. It will help. You can change the trajectory of a child's life by being a positive influence on their lives if you want to be. I think we have a lot of men in our community that just don't want to. You guys would rather just focus on your children, and I get it, right? I understand you deal with enough. You just want to deal with your kids because you don't know what you're going to have to deal with coming into contact with someone else. But what is the change? How do we make the change?
Yeah.
We realize most families are like that now.
I got you. No, that is a great question, but nobody ever seems to like the answer. We could dance around it, but nobody likes the answer.
What's the
It
answer?
will never be. A community is not a group of individuals. And basically what you're asking me now is that because everybody's divorced and because nobody's married, how do we get a bunch of people to come mentor and whip these individuals into shape? It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen because a community is actually a group of families. If I could just give you an example, I'm a married father. All of the children that I mentor or that I help are in my community. I realize that my community is just where my kids are at. So when I put the stool in front of the driveway and let my daughter and my son go up, skate, bike, scooter up and down, all the rest of the kids come outside. They scrape their knee. I pick them up. I'll wave at the parent like, no, I got this. I'll bandage them up. Or I'll tell them, hey, I'm taking everybody to the park. The proximity to your family is the only way this can actually be done. So I don't want to catastrophize and say it can't be done. What I'm telling you is that the only way we have ever done this is through the family structure. And I would love to hear somebody tell me another way it can be done, because no group in human history has ever done it another way.
Well, I think, and I'll try to add on to what you said, Trigger. I think what's maybe Ty is saying, and what I even assume Bo may jump on the mic and say, is that because of the conditions of how people live now, us as men need to adapt to what is actually happening and then forecast what we could create moving forward. I don't disagree with you on how we are traditionally socialized, reared, and supported. What I will say I disagree with Ty, but not directly at her, is that I don't believe that it's an organization-based thing. I think that this is a multifaceted issue. I'll explain from my perspective. It is always going to start from the family. That is the nucleus of development for humans, male and female alike. The issue is that there's an attack on masculinity. There's a certain type of spirit in the land that anything men do is always bad before it's good, because some of these remedies could be that men should be supported by women through these organizations. Why aren't there more men in daycare? Why aren't there more male teachers? Why aren't there more male in spaces where at the development of children, whether they have a man in the house or not, they get to experience a man? That doesn't happen because all men are bad first. This is society, right? So that's one tier. Then you have the family structure. You have more women being incentivized to remove the man and prove that they can do this child rearing thing by themselves. But then they partner with governments and child support and things of that nature. So there's so many layers to it. I think what is happening in these spaces now, because of the divide of the family, young men are actually hearing for the first time that they matter, that they have a voice, that they can actually create standards for self, even within relationships. Most men did not grow up thinking you could even tell a woman no, or that you could have standards. This space is actually aiding in that. So I think it will shift, but from an organizational perspective, I don't think we attack it that way. I think that's more of a woman thing. And I've been a part of some of these organizations. Not all of them are necessarily doing work. They're corralling and talking, but I can't say that they're necessarily effective in all their approach to things. And not land.
So
hold on. We got Pearl next and Bo. Then we go to you, Sweeney.
So when I do like a backtracking of the general consensus of like men, and to see like when are they getting this, what we declare as like social emotional learning, where they're learning the intrapersonal, the interpersonal, intragroup, and intergroup. If that is not happening in the home, then we know it's supposed to spill over into the schools, which is a whole nother issue, right? And I've said this before on the panels. I've said that they're intentionally allocating funds to sports programs and not to your SEL, not to your STEM and your STEAM. And we're not even going to talk about disability. But my point of the matter is something that's so natural for us as women. There's no strategic, dedicated time for young men from the time that they are put inside of schools, which is pre-K, to the time that they graduate and say that they're supposed to be adults, which is high school. So from pre-K to 12, there's no real exclusive time dedicated to that male development. It's just, we want you to get in here and perform academically. And I think that's why a lot of the times the men delve into sports, but I still think SEL is complementary, because you see a lot of men and young boys get into it when they're having sports altercations, and it gets really physical and really aggressive. And you're like, yeah, calm down. Like, it's still just a game base, but it's so much of an identity marker for them. So I'm just saying all that to say a lot of what sometimes does not happen in the home, as to what Trigger Mike is saying, because the families are broken down, we have not advocated enough for our systems and our educational schools to teach and foster SEL as well, which I think would bring men together, would force them into those groups, and we wouldn't be asking for them to have these skills as grown men that they should have developed when they were kids. So sometimes it's just unrealistic for them to present themselves in ways that they were never taught. And that's why I say that pressure for stoicism and expressional or emotional expression, they want to do it. Some just don't know how, some just are not comfortable, and some of us as women just have not made that space for them. So I ain't really trying to point fingers. I'm just looking at it. If it's something that they're supposed to be taught because it's not natural, when are they taught? When are they consistently taught? I just want to know that, because if they're not, then we're blaming them for something that they literally haven't had exposure to. So
can I add something real quick? Just add this.
Go ahead and respond, Trigger.
Just real quick, just to add, because I was sitting here pondering on Ty's question, like, damn, that was a good question, because it's a pertinent question to say, what can we do now? And I'm a bit of a sensationalist, right? I always speak in more absolute terms, but you're right. What can we do now for the people who may have the chances of him getting back with his baby mama are done. Chances of her getting back with him are done. So that's a real question. And we have to understand, just kind of like what Ms. Pearl said, we have to be open to any and all remedies, because I've noticed this in the school system, especially. We are open to everything when it comes to helping boys until the problem is their mother. So sometimes the answer is giving up custody to that father. Are we ready to talk about that? So that is something we can do. If it has to do with boys, then watch, if y'all ever talking to people about this and they really want to talk about it, bring that particular thing up and watch the whole mood of the room change. Sometimes that boy got to go with his daddy. That is something that people with severed relationships, they tried it, they were married, they got divorced, maybe they tried living together, tried making it work for the baby, it didn't work. Now you might have to get that boy to his daddy or that girl to her daddy, because that is what people can do. I would say that is a fix that people can implement now.
All right, go ahead, Bo and Sweeney.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you. No, I think you're gonna turn it all the way off. Okay, we'll come back to you. Go ahead, Sweeney. We'll go back to Bo.
All right. So first of all, Trigger literally stole. He didn't steal it because I'm sure we all had the same thought after thinking about it for a while, but I actually had the same thought. What Ty asked, men need to adjust. Well, we are adjusting. We just not adjusting in the way that y'all thought we would have, which is, oh, well, y'all go out and form all these like group things. No, men are adjusting by saying, give me my kid. Men are adjusting by going through the court system and making the court more fair, to where fathers get access to their children a whole lot more than they once did. Because at one point, courts did favor the mother. That's, if you actually think about it, the reason why mothers was able to form these groups and form these spaces for their kids, because they were the ones that had them. Like, why, if I was a father and I only saw my kid once every other weekend and during the and on the holidays, and if distance is a factor, would I go and form an entire organization if I don't even have my kid there to be there with me? That's something that you would naturally start to form, just like Trigger said. If you send your kids out and you're watching your kids, you're going to watch everybody else in the neighborhood. You're going to start building things for your kids. That's why you often see in like Pee-wee football and Pee-wee sports, the dads become the coaches. The dads become the helpers and things like that, because their kids are in the sports. So men are adjusting. They're getting, like, you're starting to see men fight for custody a whole lot more. And with technology and with fathers' rights organizations and things like that, you're starting to see that men are starting to get custody of their children. I'm a person that did it myself. and I did it without a lawyer against somebody with a lawyer. So you know what I mean? I agree. We probably would never go back to the nuclear family like y'all like it once was, because shit, I don't. But we are adjusting. It's just not the way you think, because that's not how men. We don't operate in the sense of where we're gonna go and raise somebody else's kids. And
Sweeney, you pause for a second. I was just gonna say, you saying that just made me realize how different we think. Like, I think it just, we've been saying this, but it's just like hit me hard, like how different, because you were like, women do that because women have kids, but it's women that do that don't have kids. It's women that go out and make, you know, organizations or groups and stuff that don't have children at all. It's a whole foundation in Chicago called Love, and the woman that was over the foundation had no children. She just had a child. She's had the foundation, I think, for 15 years. But it just reiterates that men don't have that need. You don't have that want to do it until you experience it. So
I don't think that's what I meant by that.
I
would
don't
say,
got time. First of all, we don't got time.
You said
Somebody
what?
got to pay these bills.
You
I'm
say,
like, we don't got time. That's not fair. We ain't got time.
how don't you have? So wait, hold on, Trigger. So are you saying that the amount of time that a woman has in a day is different than
Yes.
the amount of time that a man in today's society has in a day?
So
we don't have the same amount of time.
So if we're just going to talk about it collectively, real quick, if we're going to talk about it collectively, when somehow, some way, women always end up with enough help or enough assistance or enough cushion to do labor of love. Men have to do actual labor for their life, for survival. So usually, if we create something good enough, or a woman stays with her parents, right? Girls don't get kicked out the same way boys do, right?
No,
They
do
get
not.
to stay in the house when they go to school. A boy has to go out to work to survive. A girl usually has somebody she can have assist her. She lives with her boyfriend. She lives with her husband. She lives with her daddy. So that's what they end up doing, labors of love like that, way more than men ever could.
Even in today's society, do you think that still relates to today's society, that men get kicked out
Yes.
at the same rate that men?
I have a
don't
family
to
member.
stay?
I have a family member that's 2 years younger than me. She fell on hard times. She lost her job. My parents moved her from California into their house for 2 years.
Okay.
She
I
didn't
have
pay
a
a bill. They would never do me like that. Like, you mean they would never do that for their
That's
son.
your family, though. I have a family. My family is woman led. Okay. And my family member is a man in his 60s who fell out on hard times. We're not going to say how many times, but every single time a woman in the family lets him come and stay rent free with them for as long as he needs to until he gets on his feet. It hasn't been one boy in our family that has been kicked out because of lack of anything, lack of job, lack of going to school, lack of ambition, nothing. The only reason they do end up leaving is because they want to.
In
and
general,
I feel like
girls,
a lot of boys nowadays.
In general, girls will have 1,000, like how many, like shelters. Just think about it. Shelters are for women and children. The men got to get out, right? This is just something that's common in our society. And we applaud the women being able to do it, but I understand why these things are women led. I understand why things dealing with help are women led.
Trigger.
Say again.
Who leads those women led shelters and women and children led shelters? Women.
Yeah.
Where are the men?
Okay. All right. Are you ready for this? This is actually my point. Who funds those shelters? The men. That's my point.
So
the
why
men
don't
go to work to fund everything the women
man
do?
Shelters? That goes back to my point. Why don't men fund man shelters? I feel like we have these conversations, but it kind of comes back to men don't care about men. Like, why don't men fund man shelters?
So
why don't men do that?
That is a good question, but I think maybe the point that's getting missed is that somebody has to be the producer, right? So when I notice women talk about these topics, you talk as a consumer. Somebody has to be producing, and producers usually do not enable other producers to become consumers. Like, this is why boys get kicked out. You ain't about to be in this house leeching off me. You better learn how to take care of yourself. Because if I coddle you, if I let you stay, you just gonna keep. You see this married to medicine BS going on with their son? That's how you create. Like, producers will not enable other producers to become consumers. Girls are the consumers. We accept that. Y'all have the children. It is the gift y'all give to us. So we'll let y'all mooch off us for life. But when I'm looking at my son, I'm treating him completely different than I'm treating my daughter.
So can we say full circle that the issue is that the perspective and perception of how men treat men and view other men and what they should be doing is the problem? Because from your words itself, you stated that men are the producers, women are the consumers, and you don't believe that you should allow other producers or potential producers to become consumers, even if it's in a detrimental state, even if they can't produce, even if they don't have the tools, even if they don't have the resources. It doesn't matter. You're a man. Figure it out. Will we say that's a man's mentality?
I'm actually agree, and I'm actually agree because I'm gonna use the video to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not monopolizing. This is the last thing I'll say. The guy actually said it in the video. He said you cannot continue to have a society of women that thrive when the boys are struggling this bad. And what he's basically preparing the world to say is that we shifted all the focus and we shifted all the resources to female-led, DEI-driven girls rock. We're going to need to pull back on that because now we got a bunch of psychology degrees and no plumbers and electricians. So what I took from that is that to say he's going, you already see Trump doing it. They are about to do a whole trade school push to say, we don't give a damn about all the rest of that. These boys, we're going to give them purpose. We're going to give them skills. When they watch themselves work for a paycheck, and that investment that we make in boys is how society of men in general can help the boys out. And that's where we're deficient.
Real quick, I think a lot of people don't get that.
Hold on, Trev. You got to go to Trev. You got to go to Bo. Shan, go ahead, Bo.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Let me give a disclaimer for tonight. There is alcohol in this cup. Something that I don't normally do. So excuse my mouth tonight. You're going to have to not take what I say personally. So anyway, I have never heard such bullshit than the excuses that men give to other men. Men will make any excuse not to care about men. Men will make any excuse not to do anything for their community. A community is just a group of people. It has nothing to do with family. It is your chosen family. A community is your chosen family. Since the 60s, since Black people have had laws in place, now don't get me wrong, we have still been discriminated. Since they have had laws in place to get fair housing, to get affordable housing, women have had to build a community because the family chose for that woman to be in those projects so that the family can get assistance, and that man went and stayed somewhere else. And then the cycle of single mothers started essentially there. And so we are acting like women have not had to build a community of people without husbands available for their sons since then, and likely before then. But I'm just making a point about right then. Men will make any excuse not to get up off their asses. I don't have time. You have 24 hours in a day. Y'all get on this internet and tout how everybody has 24 hours in a day. You can build a business in a week if you got. Y'all can do anything else. You can put your mind to anything else except helping your fellow man. Men are the reasons why men are unaliving themselves at the rate that they are. They are the reasons why, because they do not care about other men. They are not going to pick up and help other men They are the reasons why men are so insecure. Have you heard how men talk to men? It's not just women. I'm not saying that women don't do it, but we're talking about men right now. This is the subject. Have you heard how men talk to men if they just bear their feelings? They call them weak, they call them simps. They don't want to hear it. Y'all don't get deep. Y'all don't try to figure it out. Y'all don't try to problem solve. Women do that. It's not a kumbaya. It is we are helping her. We are helping those that need help. Y'all need to do the same thing. You have 24 hours in a day. Get it done. If there are no male shelters, get it done. Y'all can do it. Women don't have to do that. We don't have to put in our labor to do that. We put in our labor to help women. How about men put in labor to help men? Men are struggling because men feel like men should get it on their own. They need help, and that is okay. Y'all think a man is weak because he needs help. Y'all think a man is weak because he's down and he ain't getting it like you. How about you help him get it like you? That's the thing. How about you pay for somebody to become a plumber or an electrician? How about you foot that bill? How about you help them sign up for that?
You foot
Y'all
that
don't
bill.
do it because you don't care. And then you want to put blame on women. Women not the problem. Not right now, because we're talking about men. What are men not doing? We can talk about what women ain't doing later, because I'm all for holding women accountable. But we're going to talk about what men are not doing for other men, because y'all ain't doing shit. Period.
Well, to be fair, it's because we dumped it all into y'all.
Yep, I said that at the end. But we taking it back now. Don't worry. These boys will be straight.
We literally dumped it all into our women.
Yep.
I don't want
I
to.
hope y'all got those last degrees.
I don't want to.
Over with.
She said some of the stuff she said, even though she said it with vigor and spirit, there's some validity to it.
Mhm.
But I think, Bo, you didn't give credence to what Trigger Mike set up as a foundation. I think sometimes this is where we get lost when we talk past each other. There's a certain maturation that men go through that women don't because of how we're socialized. That's just what it is. And unfortunately, and I've said this and I'll say it even on this panel, our only weakness is y'all. Most men don't see a purpose to life in general if there's not women involved. That happens from the time they're young, right? So you guys are a pivotal part. Not that you have to do the organizations, but there is got to be a concerted effort, and I spoke to it. There has to be a change of this attack of the image of men, the presence of men. Most women don't want men to even be in like something like a daycare. Why wouldn't you want men to be around children? Why is it automatically they're in harm's way? This is a society thing, and this exists amongst multiple sectors. So what you find sometimes too is that when men do try to organize and create positive reinforcement for men, there is consorted powers that try to stand against that because there is an attack on masculinity, always has been. That they're not changing. So I think there's validity to both sides. We need just what it is.
Hold on, y'all got to get Shan in there. And Trev, go ahead, Shan.
You can go ahead and do Trev first, because we all over the place.
Okay. Go ahead, Trev. Did you want to say something? You got that finger up still holding up. You.
That was a long ass finger.
You want to go or no? You good? All right. No, so again, there are things that us as men have to do, right? It's something that I do. I've had plenty of people who are not my kin, right? For just because I understand what the situation is. I've told people before, since I started doing social media, people were contacting me for whatever reason. And that's the thing, that we have to be careful what it is we say, because people feel like you are, professionals right away. Like people start to fall into it and they will really come to you for consultations and such. If people need help and something that I may be more versed in, I will help. And I don't put paywalls behind it. So that's part of it. That's something that I think more of us need to do. I've helped plenty of people personally. I don't think that there's a lot of support for that. If we're talking about the support systems like shelters, the organizations, 75 to 80% of that is government funded. So it's not to say like women just got together and put these together like all the way. That's not really what it is. Women, like if we're talking about socially cool, but if we're talking about boots on the ground, putting the bread up, most of them are government funded, and it's difficult to get those grants for those organizations for men. A lot of people just don't care about that. That's how I see you might have a different idea of that. If you got some data for me, I'm for it.
I'm only saying no because my mother, well, I know someone who personally works for the state of Illinois over those type of fundings for those type of things, right? Any type of organization you want to start, shelters, things of that nature, you can come with a proposal to start that type of thing, and you can get government funding for it. There are not enough people, men specifically, interested in getting funding for those type of organizations. They'll come and get funding for other things, but they won't get funding for men's shelters. So it's not just that the government is holding it and they're saying they're not going to do this. Mm-hmm. There have to be people who want those things done and come and present it with a business plan in order to get it done. There aren't enough men doing that.
Ty, remember
in the state that I'm from, that I know of.
Ty, remember when I said men and women do things in an equal but opposite fashion? Remember I said, y'all think like consumers, we think like producers. Never in my life will I go to get a grant to open a men's shelter when I will go get a man a job so he can provide his own shelter. That's how men do things. So I think one of the things that's missing in these conversations is that you only see things from your viewpoint on how a woman would do it. Remember, we are men. I never in my life thought that I should go provide. Remember, but I'm giving you those two words to kind of invite you into our style of thinking. Mm-hmm. How can I help my brother produce? Mm-hmm. How can I help him get it like me? His whole sense of purpose relies on his ability to get it for himself, because he's just another leech, and he will be cast away by other men if he's leeching off of it. If you see, if you go to work, remember, men work hard labor. Mm-hmm. You go to work all day, and you come in to something you're providing, and you see a man on the floor chilling, playing you're gonna want to stomp him the hell out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you understand that because of my labor, these women and these children are in here living comfortably. But every other man got to be out here getting it like I'm getting it. That's just the way we are designed.
But Trigger, let me ask you this. To get a job, you have to have a place of residence, correct?
No, you don't.
Because they have to have somewhere to send a check. In most places, you do. You actually, in Indiana, you have to have a place of residence, something for your check to be sent to. You have to have like a place where your taxes can be garnished for that. Sure. You have to have a place of residence. So why wouldn't you, instead of just thinking, I'm going to have a shelter? See, because for me, it's all about perception. And I understand thinking from your, a woman's mind, trying to get out of that, right? I'm a woman though, so I can only do so much. I'm just a girl. But if you don't want to just do a shelter, why wouldn't you start an organization, not you specifically, but men, right? Where there is a place where they have living quarters and places where they can gain skills. So they can get to jobs.
I think
is that not an idea to help?
I would think that first that would probably be illegal, so to speak. Because
how?
I'm gonna explain how. Because men aren't a protected class as a group.
They're not.
What?
Men are not considered men as a group are not considered
illegal to open.
Right. So if a man says, I'm going to create a men's only shelter, and he goes to the government and says, I want to create a men's only shelter, he more than likely probably, and this is just my head canon, I'm just spitballing here.
We have those. We have male only shelters.
Right. That doesn't even make sense.
How is it funded? The question is, how is it funded? Because it might only be funded by the man that's doing the shelter. You don't also when you create shelters, the shelter is technically for everybody. But to Trigger Mike's point, they kick the men out. They say, hey, look, men gotta go so that the women can feel safe here. But I believe that men are not a protected class in this country to be able to create something specifically for them.
I don't think that's true.
You won't get the
it says that they do get government grants, HUD, state, local, private donations, corporate sponsorships,
for a men's only shelter.
Yeah, so I know that in Atlanta they do have, and I just wanted to see how they got their money, but they do have male.
What's the name of the shelter?
One is I just looked it up. Hold on.
No, I've seen them
But
before.
it wouldn't even make sense if you look at the statistics of the amount of homeless men in America, or even in each specific state. It's going to outnumber the amount of homeless women and children. So why wouldn't there be a need for a homeless all-male shelter where they help them with trades to actually get a job? I don't see how that's a
no.
If
So
anything, the government is going to see that as a benefit rather than something that's not going to make their money back.
So have you ever given money to a homeless person?
Yeah.
So there's a big homeless problem here in Houston. All right, and you know, I got kids now. They're 6 and 8 years old, and if I take them into Houston where you can see the homeless a lot, they always talking about, Daddy, can I give her my money? You know, I'm always giving my kids $5, $2 ferry, that type of stuff, and I'll slap their hand and I'll say, son, this man was on the street 13 years ago when I moved here. So that's another part of the men's thinking and why it seems like men don't help other men. Like Bo said, there is a serious issue with help, and it's just like aid, right? In like impoverished countries, something is going on with these people where no matter what we give them, how much money you get on the street a day, haven't they tallied it? Some of them make $300 a day. That's more than minimum wage for an 8-hour shift. And in some of these streets, like in the Galleria of Houston, you got big ballers passing by, giving you $10, giving you food. So it's not that you want to help these people. And by and large, we have tried to help these people. There are other conditions that they are suffering from that keep them on the street, right? The easiest thing to do is say, let's get these people some jobs. They're not going to stick with them. These are drug problems, mental health issues, sex abuse problem, all that type of stuff. So people are really going through other stuff. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to the homeless. I don't want to filibuster or negate your point, but once you say the word homeless, it is multifactorial, and we probably leave that alone.
Hey, Trev, did you go already? Okay. All right, let me get to these couple of super chats, and then it's another shorter clip. Ghost J Speed, $5 Bo. If you can hold it together for 3 shows in a row, I'm riding with you. Tell G, $5. I know that ain't Ty from Oregon. There's no male on this epidemic. People projecting false narratives once again.
Black people that live in Oregon?
Brooks. Nathan, $10. The solution is not well liked, but here it is again. You need to go back to your child's father and beg him to make you all a family again. Go and get along with each other like you did before. Trigger mites, both stop it. Women hate each other. Also,
I sure do.
At Lacey 2, $10. I am drinking tonight too because I mostly agree with Bo. We men have a sink or swim mentality that has been detrimental to men's growth. We need to teach young men how to swim so they don't sink. I want to thank everybody that's contributed thus far. Hit the like button. That's all I'm asking for. It's the like button to be hit. Go to Shed a Stream. Here we go.
Men 18 to 25 have not engaged personally on asking a woman out for a date, or I find that to be shocking.
Almost half of young men have never asked a woman out in person. And there's a bunch of factors around that. One, it's difficult. I mean, it's just not easy. One of the key skills I think a man has to treat or try and give his son is to how to express romantic interest while making that person feel safe. And this is only anecdotal evidence. When I go out and I'm in social situations, I'll have women approach me and say, I'm here, I'm single and I'm ready to mingle, I look amazing, and a man hasn't approached me in 3 months, right? And 80% of women still expect the man to make that initial approach. And also, to a certain extent, men's interest in romantic and sexual relationships has been pathologized. Like there's something wrong if you want to meet women and ultimately have sex. And I think we need to start celebrating it, because a man's desire to be in a relationship and, quite frankly, to have physical encounters is fire. And that is, it can be destructive. You spend too much time with porn, you start objectifying women, it can lead to misogynist or dangerous places. But that fire can also be captured in an engine and create tremendous progress. Wanting to have sex, if channeled correctly, which it is for most men, makes you want to dress better, smell better, have a kindness practice, have your act together, develop the resilience and the confidence to approach someone, and maybe they're not interested, and guess what? You're both going to be fine. These are key attributes. We need to celebrate men wanting to have relationships and making an approach. And if you don't develop those skills and that resilience and those calluses from rejection, you're going to struggle in other parts of your life. So the most rewarding thing in life is relationships, full stop. And I think the most rewarding relationship is building a life with someone and having kids. I'm not saying you have to have that to be happy. And quite frankly, just to be raw about this, when I saw my partner who I've had kids with, I wasn't thinking I'd really like lower rates on auto insurance. I was thinking, just to be blunt, I would really like to have sex with her. And that forced me to be a better person, to try to have a kindness practice, to demonstrate excellence. And 18 months later, we had our first son. So let's stop demonizing men for wanting to procreate. It's a wonderful thing as long as you channel it into wanting to be a better man. The only thing I can guarantee you is that anything wonderful in your life is going to have a lot of no's. Full stop. And unfortunately, men aren't getting to know because they're afraid to, or they have what they think is a cheap substitute for these relationships online.
So like sex ain't a bad thing for men, huh?
Hey, Shan, what's funny is that was the first. I didn't even see your link in the chat, and that was one of the first ones I pulled up. So I'm looking at their financials right now to see how they're funded.
I was trying to pull up. It was like 10 of them that popped up on my screen. It's not just that one. Even the Salvation Army has one just for male centered in Atlanta. I don't know about anywhere else, but I just pulled up near me, and that's what pulled up.
Yeah, I think that might be the one. Even the one that you shared might be still privately, well, not privately funded, but mostly funded by donations. It's not funded by the government.
All right. So what did you guys think about what was said about men and their nature?
Well, we know women motivate men to be productive. I mean, I would say that men sometimes motivate women. So that's not anything new, you know. I would like to know percentage-wise as far as race is concerned, how that like is he's speaking. I mean, because we're talking about overall. I don't think our experience is necessarily the same as others' experience. Not from what I've seen.
You guys agree we got a different experience when it comes to that? Bo says no.
What exactly?
You don't think kids are? You don't think
What exactly is different?
Yeah,
mating? What is what I'm saying? Because that's what he was talking about, right?
Yeah, I think it's the same for the most part.
I think it's the same across the board because of social media and how kids nowadays interact overall.
There is a mating problem, at least at my school, meaning too much, too soon. So
you're in Atlanta, so it's a skewed population.
No, baby. I'm just saying, talk to your kids. It's getting out of hand.
I mean, so what he said, what I don't like about those, I mean, you know what? Let me not even say I don't like it. It's a beginning, right? So that it's a beginning of a conversation that needs to be had. But it almost seems like when you go on with Oprah, when he went on The View, he doesn't really want to say what you're supposed to say in situations like that. Remember, in a relationship, it is 50% the man's engagement, 50% the woman's engagement. But he will talk about problems and pathology of male engagement and leave the women out completely. Men don't engage with women because the women are mean as hell. We live in the era of the meanest women, the most selective, sexually selective women in history. They will joke on your sneakers. They will joke on your acne. Boy, if you don't go straighten your teeth, right? It's the outspokenness, right? Like, what are we always talking about on these panels? The lack of feminine, like, the lack of femininity that women lead with, but that ultimately leaves men with nothing to turn to, right? So what Kevin Samuels been about 5 years ago, wasn't he on like going viral for asking a woman to smile? That indicates that we have an issue like that in real life, right? And I noticed one thing about pair bonding and people that make bonds in relationships and make relationships real easy. The women actually make it easier for the men to do it. The women who got a lot of men, they have a lot of marriages, a lot of successful relationships. The women make it easy for the men to approach them. They make it easy for the men to ask them out on dates. They'll ask to pay for the man's date, pay for coffee or whatever. We have such a difficult barrier here, and it's really a Western problem. Like in America, he got to take me out. He got to buy me that. You doing so much mental stuff. Like, is it really worth it? Do I really want to do all of that? Right? Because back in the day, a woman listen, if she really liked you, she was smiling. She would come over here. She make it. She do everything but take her own chest out to say, "Boy, come over here. I'm trying to give it to you." We don't got that no more. So what are these men supposed to do?
So real fast, are we talking about? So are you saying she should be easily giving you access to her? Is that what you're saying?
No. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying interest. Do nothing. Come on, man. No, do nothing sexually. What I am saying is that I've noticed the correlation between women who are not afraid to show their interest in a man. That's it. Just your interest. Make it easy for him to approach. Make it easy for him to come over. That's what my wife did. Pretty much every girlfriend I ever had did that. Like, boy, you know how many pencils I asked you for? I had a bunch of pencils in my backpack. Like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Go ahead, Bo.
So, gotta call bullshit again. So it's not even that women are not giving signals that they are interested. Men just are not approaching. Now, Sweeney and I have had a conversation about how mean women can be. I get it. Like, I get a lot of insight from my guy friends. So I don't want y'all to ever think that I don't get it. But also, you're supposed to be this big bad man. Like, if a woman is not being like overtly mean, right? Like, because I used to be real mean. I get it. I used to be so mean. If I was not attracted to you, if I was attracted to you, then it's cool.
She's not mean.
Hey, listen, I will admit to it. But what I'm saying is, there are a lot of men that won't approach you just because you're not smiling. I'm not talking about the women that are just mean. I'm talking about women that are just not smiling. Like, I don't go around smile. Let me tell you something. If I went around just smiling in everybody's face, you would probably think I was a serial killer. Like, it's stupid to think that women are just supposed to smile everywhere they go. It's dumb. But what I will say is, like, you can't be afraid. You're supposed to be this big bad man with these muscles. You're supposed to be brave. You're gonna fight off an imaginary intruder, but you won't approach a woman that's not smiling just because I'm not smiling. We're completely passing over the mean women. I get it. I told y'all I get it. I promise I do. I just admitted I was one of them in my 20s. But I'm talking about the women that are just going about their day. You could go and approach them. It's the way y'all approach us.
Come on,
smile. It ain't that bad, bitch. Now I'm finna. So don't do that, right? Don't come up to me and be like, "You smile. It ain't that bad." Now I don't want to smile. Now I want to slap you. But if
why you want to slap them?
Hey, because that pisses. Do you know how bad that pisses?
You don't know how.
You know how mad you have to be to want to slap somebody for saying
Hold
smile?
on. Women, raise y'all hands. how you get, if you get fighting mad if a man walk up to you talking about some smile, it ain't that bad.
It make you frown harder.
It make
Like,
you, I'm
Only
telling you, I'm
Notice
being
what they said.
dramatic.
Hold on, wait.
I'm
Notice
being
what they said.
dramatic.
She said frown harder. Y'all
yeah,
don't realize that you ain't just not smiling. You walking around with the RBF, straight resting bitch face. Like, dude,
maybe I'm having a bad
But
day.
So I have a question. 'Cause
or
I
Maybe
don't
I'm
think,
upset.
hold on,
real
wait a minute.
fast.
Something
Every
did.
day,
Or
everyday.
Let me say
maybe
this.
I have a bad day.
that's
I
just how our
Smack
face
the box.
looks.
So
Do other
if
people
I'm frowning,
smile?
I'm frowning for a reason.
you know
No,
what's
they
funny?
don't. I paid
You know what's
attention.
funny?
Go
Hold
to
on,
the
you know what's
store.
funny?
I'm gonna videotape me going to the store. I don't see many women just
Yes, they don't. They just go.
No.
they're just minding their
Yeah.
business. Now, if they see you, you'll smile like hi.
How you doing?
You know, maybe
No,
that's
y'all don't. No, y'all don't.
But do
No,
you
y'all
see
don't.
how my face
No, y'all
looks? Hold on. Do you see how my face looks when I'm on live? That's how I look every day.
That's RBF.
Y'all know
I
why
don't
y'all
care. Here's the thing. Why are you
so?
why are you such a scary ass man that just
So,
because I'm happy as I could be, ain't nothing wrong with me right now.
bro,
Nothing is
I
wrong
look
with
like
me.
this.
I
y'all
know
know why
she
y'all
Hold
can't
on.
see it.
No, if
So,
I look like this,
and do you know how you get a
would
woman
you
to
would you
smile?
would you
Do
want
you
to come?
understand? Do you men know how to get a woman to smile? If a woman is looking like that, do you know how to get her to smile?
Yeah, go to the
Hey, you
suburbs.
look real nice today. My name is
Nope,
such and
don't
such.
work.
What's your name?
You know,
That's
Don't
it.
work.
When I tell you I'll
Some
smile
great
for a
joggers.
year,
Don't work. That
it
shit
Some
don't
does.
work.
great joggers. Let it dangle a
Hold
little
on,
bit.
wait, hold on. Do
So you
y'all
telling me
not
that ain't gonna work?
realize?
If a
Hold on, do
woman is
y'all?
telling you that,
Yes, if you're telling me that it's not working because it's been tried and true, you do realize like this shit has been tried already. Dudes have already tried it. They've tried the high queen. How you doing, queen? You
they
look
keep
beautiful
trying
today.
it.
Ran
And
right.
you
Oh,
gotta keep
Listen.
trying.
Wait a minute.
Sweetie, what
Pause.
does the man
Pause.
say? You have to learn to take
Pause.
rejection. I think that's what's wrong
Do
with a
you,
lot of men
hold on,
nowadays.
You
wait, Ty.
don't
Hold
want
on, wait. Hold on,
rejection.
wait, Ty. Hold on,
Those
wait,
are
Ty.
okay.
I'm nice.
Hold on, wait.
Oh, hold on,
I
y'all. We
find
gotta
it,
do one
hold on.
mic, y'all. We gotta do one mic. We're
I
talking
find
over
it
each other.
interesting that a group of people who are, and I'm talking about women in general, who are literally afraid to talk to men because they fear rejection, are trying to coach men on how they shouldn't fear rejection.
No,
Hold
It's
on,
always
wait
our
a minute.
it's not our job to be rejected.
You based on what?
It's
I
not
thought
our
we was.
job.
Hold on, wait a minute. I thought we was in
not
a
fair.
modern society. I thought y'all need to adjust. I thought we need to figure things out. Now all of a sudden,
We do need to figure stuff out. Y'all
yo,
still
how about
no.
so when Trigger said, "Damn, can you look a little more approachable than resting bitch face?" And all of a sudden we going down a rabbit hole about how we have to sit here and try to navigate your mean ass look to get you to smile on some shit we done already tried before. We done already
Stop
tried.
being pussy ass niggas. Like, why are we doing this?
You know what? You know what?
This is
say
not a
it,
good
baby.
faith
And this is
argument.
that bullshit. This is
No.
that bullshit. And this is why men ain't approaching.
Listen.
Yeah. So most men have approached hundreds to thousands of women, right? Even the most successful pickup artists. Hold on, the most successful pickup artists report like a 10% closing rate. Most men go in and fail most of the time, right? And then no matter where it is, you can't do the thing at work no more. The work percentage was extremely high where people met their spouse up work. You will catch a case now. You can't bother them at the gym, even in the club. I'm with my friends. Like, people, you can't. When can you actually safely talk to women? Women are acting. Yeah, how are y'all trying to act like you don't even want to give choosing signals? Even if you just give choosing signals, you telling me that I'm supposed to get through your RBF? Like you supposed to look like that, and I'm supposed to want to approach you with the current climate right now?
Maybe she's in a relationship.
Right, and whatever the case is.
So
Why
I'm
we
gonna
running?
leave you.
Excuse
I'm gonna
me.
leave you and your resting bitch face alone because you might be in a relationship. You
This
might have had a
dialogue.
bad day. You might
None of
not
that
like
dialogue
that.
is
matters.
gold.
Why
You're
am I
either
gonna walk up and disturb that?
You're
This
right.
I'm gonna let you
dialogue.
leave.
Excuse me.
trying to
None of
chime in,
that
y'all.
And
matters.
y'all gonna stay in y'all loneliness.
None of that matters.
This-
You're either pleasant or
We
you're
only six.
not.
Hold on, wait a minute now. We
You're
only
either
6
pleasant
percentage.
or you're not.
Hold on, wait.
It's
We're
just
only
that
6
simple.
percentage points ahead of women. Y'all are lonely as shit too.
Yeah.
Almost
Well,
200%
and
women
come
are
on.
also lonely.
Hold on, y'all. I think Pearl was trying to say something. Go ahead, Pearl.
I just was trying to land it with you're either pleasant or you're not. Like I'm not about to. This is my thing right here, because we can go through things and have things go on in our lives. it's a level of maturity that you're supposed to have. Like, if I'm at the grocery store and I had a horrible day and Trigger Mike approaches me, why am I unpleasant to him? He hasn't done anything. If Sweeney is approaching me, he doesn't have to say, oh, Miss Pearl, you look beautiful, for me to open up. I'm either gonna naturally and authentically be pleasant or I'm not. And they're not saying we got to walk through the store like this, but it's just like this. Like myself, I've been on this platform probably about 30 times. I smile a lot. Like, that's just me. I'm not coming on here with a resting bitch face because why am I doing that? I'm not mean. I'm not aggressive to these men. They haven't done anything to me. And even if they did, it's a certain way that I'm supposed to communicate with them or not. So my whole problem is whether you're attractive or not, that doesn't matter because that's subjective. The men are just saying we are not pleasant. We are not approachable, regardless if you're in a relationship or not. Just because I'm in a relationship don't mean I'm about to have a resting bitch face and be mean because I have a man. I'm still going to smile and I can still tell that man I'm in a relationship. Why are we playing? You're either pleasant or you're not. I'm going to land my plane. Like,
for example.
But what's the problem? But hold on, what's the problem if a person does not naturally smile? Like, I'm not unpleasant.
You know what, Bo?
I'm not an unpleasant person when you meet me. Anybody can tell you when I'm talking to anyone, I'm not an unpleasant person.
You're mean.
But what I'm saying is,
it's just gonna naturally come off.
We won't get to find out because you're mean.
I don't give a fuck. Here's the thing: when you approach me, I am not unpleasant. Right? Because when you say bullshit, like smile, it ain't that bad, bitch, get out of my face. The men who approach me and are just like in general, like, hey, how are you? You don't even have to compliment me. Hey, how are you? My name is such and such. What is your name? Cool. Like, I'm not rejecting, I'm not being mean. I am a pleasant person to approach, but just because my natural face is not a smile and it's not a whatever, like I'll look at you and like, whatever. Like, you know how you kind of just smirk at people when you pass them if they acknowledge you with your eyes? Cool. But if I am concentrating on something, what the fuck is the problem with it? I don't have to see someone and be like, hey, and I'm not doing that. What is the problem with my natural face? There's nothing wrong with that. And that doesn't mean that I'm unpleasant at all.
So she's right in a sense.
I want to point to something real quick.
Yeah, you got to make sure we're sharing the mic, y'all, because some folks they've been trying to talk and some people been dominating. So if you've been dominating, you already know who you are. Go ahead and land Sweeney and let's get true in there.
I do want to point to something, right? This video had went viral on TikTok where a guy was like, he approached a woman and just wasn't interested in her, just asked her, how was she doing? He said, hello, how are you doing? And he said, damn, when did we get to a point where you don't even talk, you don't even respond to the person that just says hello to you? You don't say hi back, a nod of acknowledgement. And of course, on TikTok, all the women said, why do we have to do that? And this kind of speaks to what Pearl is saying. Most men understand that most people don't smile throughout the day. And most men, when we talk about women being unapproachable, it ain't, oh, we walk up to you and you ain't smiling in the day. It's when we talk to you or we approach you and we say, damn, you know what I mean? Why am I getting terrible energy from you? Why am I getting ignored if I say hello to you? Why is there no thank you when I hold the door open for you? Meanwhile, the tripped out part is after that video went viral, there was another video that went viral. And this was of a woman who was overseas complaining about how she was being ignored by black men. Come to find out, she was a misandrist who hate black men, but she had that same issue. And then all of a sudden, now everybody in the TikTok community understood what it was like to be ignored by somebody, to be shut out when somebody says hello to you or don't want to, or you look at them and they don't acknowledge you. That's what we're saying is that, to Pearl's point, it's not, oh, we need y'all to smile every single day. It's if I come up and I say, hey, how are you doing? Why am I getting resting bitch face in response? Why can't I get a, hey, how you doing? If I come up to you and I smile and say, hey, how you doing? How am I not getting the same energy?
But
I think Oh, go ahead, Bo.
So I get it. And I told you I wasn't talking about the mean women. I'm not talking about those mean women. But if you walk up to me, like I had someone literally that watches this show come up to me in the grocery store. And he was like, "Excuse me, I think you do that show on YouTube." He didn't get none of that. I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm Bo." He was like, "Yeah, that's your name." I am not a hard person to approach. And there's no telling how I was looking in that moment because I'm in the grocery store. I don't know how my face is looking. Whatever my face looked like on here, that's what I was looking like. Great, fine, whatever. All he did was come up and be like, "Hey, excuse me." That's all you have to do. Men want to put extra shit on it. You
Boy, you gave him
smile.
a number? You gave him a number?
Hell no. Well, to be
not even-
honest, he didn't act. No. The reason why I said this, because I mean, he didn't ask for it, but also he vehemently disagrees with me. So, like, he wouldn't be into me no way. So it's not like, hell no, I ain't interested. He was a nice looking guy, but like, he's not on the same page as me. Cool, fine. But we had a good conversation, and I'm cool with that. Like, he was really nice, but I'm not a hard person to approach. Just because my face looks like that when you approach me, there's no telling what you're going to get. I get it. I know, Sweeney, we've had this conversation. You know, I get it. But what I'm saying is, you never know what you're going to get because judging someone by the way they look and you haven't even said anything to them, like you are prescribing them, bitch, and they ain't even did nothing. All you got to do is say, "Excuse me, hey, how you doing? Hey, how are you?" Like, I'm a very soft person. I'm not this crude person if you try to talk to me. Like, that's all I'm saying. Take a
You're not.
chance. And if you get rejected and you get somebody mean 1,000 times, try it 1,001. But if you give up and you only go
That's
for
the
women who you think don't have a resting bitch face, who you think ain't mean, because I'm telling you that some of them women that you think ain't mean finna stab you in your sleep. So I'm just saying, like, give the women a chance.
Bro, I got a
You a
question
big,
for you.
strong
How
man.
many women would you say you've ever approached who had faces like that were just kind of mean looking?
None. Matter of fact, hold on, wait.
Well,
Bo, you're a business owner.
most men can say probably a few hundred, and we get to realize what happens. We know what the results are typically going to be when someone looks like that and you try to, because it's not to say that we would just off rip automatically eliminate every woman who's wearing an RBF, right? That's one thing. We would try to penetrate that at some point, but our results would probably not be so well. So you
Negligible
know
at
what?
best.
We would stop. We'd be like, okay, if she look like a bitch, then guess what? I'm probably just gonna go to somebody who doesn't look like a bitch today, because you want to yield good results. So if you insist on having that type of face, that's fine. But just understand that it's working against you. People won't want to approach you.
Yeah, I love this conversation because it's apparent, and I got love for all the ladies, but it is apparent that they don't have a clue on how difficult it is to cold approach a woman. And I vehemently disagree with the man who said that you have to go through the callous test and talk to 10,000 women. I personally think that that's stupid. What happens, unfortunately, a lot of times is that women are not seeking to be approached by men. This is what I just observed. When women are out, they doing whatever they're doing. So there's this idea, because every woman I've talked to thinks literally the same way. Well, just talk to me in a grocery store if you find me interesting. No, ma'am. You're in the grocery store to shop. You're not there for me. You're not there for anybody. So this idea that women, I think, have sometimes is false. Whereas with men, we don't necessarily leave the house seeking to talk to y'all. But if we do catch a glimpse, we could be headed into the parking lot and you walk, oh, shoot. It's just different, right? What happens, though, a lot of times is that, just like the fella says, y'all think you exist in the world. You ain't got no security guards. Nobody's in your way. So you're available. You're not available. what typically happens is that somewhere like a Starbucks or where women tend to just have energy that is given to a man, and energy could be like, what are you drinking today? Just that damn simple can open up so many more opportunities. But for whatever freaking reason, us asking women to literally just be social is too much to ask. Even in the grocery store, you on the aisle and maybe the dude catches your attention. What's wrong with being like, what's on the menu? But girls are not going to do that, because clearly, fellas, I hope you guys are seeing it. They're asking us continue to be big badass men and just go through the trenches, because that's just what's supposed to happen. I encourage most men that if you want to meet women, go places where it's concentrated to where by force you have to talk to them. It just raises your chances. If, you know, mixers, events where she put some effort into the way she looks. Because when she out and about doing stuff, I just don't see that to be a very, very high closing rate. And I land.
Yeah, I tend to agree with, I think Trev probably said it, that you do need that callus, right? I know we differ on that idea, but the women who probably suffer the most from resting bitch face, they don't believe that men and women, they believe men and women are equal, and they think that that's misogynistic. So you can't, like, you gotta understand that the men that's gonna believe that they need to approach women, they need to be callous, they need to do all those things, is the same men who that specific type of women say shouldn't exist. It's like you can't have both. You know what I mean? You can't have it both ways. I can't be the masculine man that's gonna come in and fight the intruder that you don't want to exist, but then when you want me to be a masculine man that's monogamous,
that's willing to bite the bullet and just approach you anyway
and take everything, then that's okay. But if I, like, it's like y'all want to pick and choose what's acceptable masculinity when it's not all positive, and sometimes there's negatives that come with it, and then y'all want to run that off and then be mad when the good that come with some of those negatives, because it's a give and take. It's a game slider. When men don't have that game slider, because you villainize a lot of that shit. Like you villainize men not giving, like, not having enough emotional intelligence to feel bad and be bothered. The sweetest women had a resting bitch. I mean, again, I also would fall into the misogynistic category sometimes by a true feminist. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't say you don't want to ever get wet by water, but you want to go swimming. It just don't work.
To be fair, Marcus, you are not misogynistic at all. Sexist, sure. Misogynistic, I won't give you that.
Okay.
Here's the funny thing. All of us own businesses up here at one point, right? Everybody up here has owned a business at some point. Had a business card you had to hand out, right? How many of y'all were willing to approach people with resting bitch face and look like they didn't want to be bothered to hand them a business card saying, you know what?
Me.
Bullshit.
I used to work, I promise you, my first job out of college was door-to-door sales, where I had to knock on people's door and try to sell them AT&T Uverse. That's why I am such an advocate for, you just have to get past no's. I used to take 500 no's a day. I made 100% commission. My goal is to get this thing. You could say no, you could be mean. How you doing? It could be no soliciting on the door. How you doing? Hope you having a great day. If you want this Uverse. You know what I'm saying? I got doors slammed in my face. All type of stuff. You got to be okay with the no. Like Marcus was saying, and well, from a little bit that he was saying, you're going to get no's along the way, but somewhere it's going to be a yes.
When was the last time you approached a man?
Say it again.
When was the last time you approached a man that you like?
First, well, that's not a question for me. But I've had conversations with men in grocery stores. Like, men have approached me out and about, and I'm always nice.
No,
I get approached at the gas station. I get approached at the grocery store, and I'm never mean. I say hello. You know, nice to be fair. Nice. But listen, though, you guys are saying be nice, but for women, there is a thin line, because you can't be too nice. Because if I'm too nice, then I must be available. And even when you tell them you're not available, they still pushing. Then
We
it's like
making
now
this
I gotta
harder than
kind
it
of get
gotta be,
mean.
Ty.
Like
We making this
now I
harder
gotta
than it
look
gotta be.
mean so you can get on about your business. I said
So
hello, you said hello. Let's move on with the day. I know it's like a thin line between this. But
And
no,
most
I
of y'all
don't
not
approach
funny.
man. What am I approaching man for? Man approach me. I'm a woman. I am a lady.
Yeah.
So you never, so basically you've never done it.
You know what? I did try one time years ago.
Why did you
And
stop?
I reached out to a guy. It was actually on social media because I really liked his posts and stuff. And I thought he was kind of attractive. So I like reached out to him like, hey, you ever thought about like podcasting? Like that was like my pickup line. You ever thought about podcasting? And you know what? I also did Bumble. If y'all don't remember that app, that's a woman-led app. You have to start the conversation with the guy.
Bullshit.
Where it was like little open lines where I was like, hey, you know, like game. That's what I realized.
And they all chose the 6 foot dude over 6 foot man.
Have personality once you meet me. You just got to start a conversation with me. You know, or crack a joke or something.
You know why Bumble failed, right?
Because women probably didn't want to approach. We're terrible at it.
They were
we didn't learn to do that. That's not our
It
field.
wasn't just that. It was the fact that y'all would come in and be vanilla as hell and still expect. Hold on, wait. Y'all would the whole point of the app was for y'all to show interest and approach the men. But what y'all would do is y'all would send some vanilla text, and if it was and basically y'all would be the women would be vanilla as hell and still expect the man to carry the conversation even on Bumble, and that's why it failed because women were still trying to be the women that they are on Tinder. On Bumble, and it did not work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let me say this because this isn't like advice that I'm giving of what I would want to see. We have numerous married men on this panel. So when I'm usually speaking, I'm speaking on how to achieve the best end results. I don't know if any of y'all can let me know if y'all have had this conversation like right around the time you got engaged, you had to like field a bunch of conversations from girls you used to mess with, or you were somewhere and they'd be like, why you choose her over me? And I think now that I've been married for a while, I got like a one-word answer. The woman that a man chooses is usually just more joyful and delightful than all the other women that he's dated. I ain't never once in my life heard I married this woman because she was the meanest bitch I ever met in my life. No dude has ever said that. Your wife is just more pleasant. She's more joyful. She's more jubilant and peaceful than most of the women you ever gonna meet. You know how much it takes for a man to say, I'm gonna jump out the window for this one. I'm gonna pay the health insurance for this one. I'm gonna let her be the beneficiary of my life insurance. It takes a lot.
That is true. That is.
But the only difference is your wife like you.
No, but
what
I'm saying, what I'm really just saying is that if women want if women are really looking for husbands and providers and men that they want to be with, showing the joyful side of yourself. That's why I said that the girls that don't have a problem with this, not that they're smiling, they're almost like, I want to let you know that I'm interested and I'm open for dialogue. I'm going to make this easy for you, right? Those are the women that I would probably think are the most married. And if we want to, it's just like anything. If you want to see a difference, you have to encourage that difference. If you want to see more men in the dating game, encourage positive interaction in dating. That's why I said this is a 50-50 thing. Why are we talking about just men and what men have to do? It's a social interaction between men and women. The women got to do something too. If we're saying, no, y'all a little unapproachable, then the women got to say, no, we need husbands. I ain't like, you know how many of my wife's friends said they tired of paying bills? Well, then stop with your resting bitch face then, and you'll get your bills paid. I'm sorry. If I come back in the next life as a woman, I'm going to have this whole thing figured out.
No, you won't.
I'm going to have this whole thing figured out.
Because you're going to have a woman.
All of this will be erased.
You going to think I'm tardy.
We're going to be a 304.
Oh, this going to be
We're going to be a 304.
We're going to be a 304.
So when you
knock it off.
Oh, yeah,
Oh my God. OF page, all types of stuff. Instagram
this whole thing figured out, man. Y'all tripping.
He gonna have his bill paid by most.
Ain't gonna be shit.
You gonna see
God,
all my teeth.
God go
talk about
sketch all that shit out your head.
Oh, you're so funny. Oh my God, tell me the story again.
Hold on, y'all. Let me get to these super chats right quick. Chaotic the Truth Analysis, a man who says he is lonely or depressed is a punk. Get in the gym, eat food, eat good food, drink water, and pursue your dreams, period. Take advantage of this great country and get off the couch. Chaotic again. $2. I beat M. White in a one-on-one game last year. Ask him.
Damn, man, that's true.
$2.
What?
Says when you tell women they act like kids, they argue. So I said, what? $5. Women only care about how they are approached when they not attracted to the man. All the rules and the guidelines they have are for the men they don't like.
That's true.
Mr. God give $2. Passport bros. We just keep winning. Brooke, $2. It's not rejection, it's public embarrassment. And saying $5. Well, man wants to approach an unhappy, strange woman. If men approach you when you aren't smiling, we don't really care or expect anything from it. And saying $5, you know, when I approach unhappy looking yet attractive women, but my day is going so well that nothing you say can take me out of my mode, so I don't care. You can $5? No. $2. If you can't smile, you shouldn't be approached. J Speed, $5. Bo, you just got a chest of jolly. Let your face mask that sometime with a smile. I guarantee you are going to rise. Get a rise out of men. Did I say that? Thirsty. I think he coming at you. J Speed trying to
He's shooting his shot.
trying to pull up bitches out. Thomas Ford, 6740, 199. Women don't care. Trying to lick them chops. Go ahead and run this.
Women made socioeconomically, horizontally, and up. Women, generally speaking, and this isn't true for everybody, but generally speaking, women who graduated from college don't want to date men who didn't graduate from college. Not always, but generally speaking. It's the high heels effect. And again, this is an uncomfortable conversation. 50% of women say they would never date a man shorter than them. I think that's bullshit. I think it's more like 80%. I think women instinctively want a dude they feel that could physically protect them. And the problem is, or the issue is, and it's both a wonderful thing, but something that's created knock-on effects in mating, is that women metaphorically are getting taller every year, and men appear to be getting shorter. I'm saying metaphorically. And the divorce rates have skyrocketed, and 70% of divorce filings are from women. And it's because, and it's actually for some good reasons, women no longer feel like they're economically indentured servants. They have their own game, and their ascent economically has not been matched by men's ascent emotionally and logistically. So women wake up and say, okay, I'm making more money than you. You're not pulling your weight at home, and you're kind of not there for me. You're not really noticing me. And so a lot of women are doing the math and exiting the relationship. What I would say is, what you're feeling, quite frankly, I think is what a lot of women are feeling. And a lot of women say there are no good men to date, or there are no men to date. No, there just aren't that many men they'd want to date. And so where I try to go to solutions is, how do we lift up young people such that they're all, or more of them are economically viable, which I think will, on the margin, lift up or disproportionately impact young men. But just the fact that you said you're self-conscious or aware enough to pour that energy into really productive things means you're going to be fine. I don't think romantic love is the be-all, end-all for everybody. It's really rewarding, but I think you can find what I'll call that sort of purpose, relational love in a lot of different areas. And the fact that you're even thinking about how you channel that energy into stuff that's more productive, you're the role model for young men right now. Not everyone's going to find romantic love right away, or it's going to happen, or it's going to take longer. But how do you transfer it into more productive means that make you a better person, a better citizen, a better sister, better daughter? So anyways, this is a long-winded way of saying, right on. You're being a productive human. You're going to be happy regardless if you find that or not. And I just wish more men would take your lead and say, all right, maybe things aren't working out for me romantically. I'm going to continue to work on myself. And I'm going to pour that energy into other relationships.
What the fuck?
He's a marketing professor, bro. Just
Okay,
remember that.
Bro, here's
He had first started saying that most men don't have a purpose without a drive I mean, most men don't have a purpose or a drive without a family.
Mm-hmm.
And he was based on it that like that relational connection is so essential. Like he can't just say that like 30 minutes ahead and then 30. Like what if the man didn't hear the totality of what he just said? Because it was kind of contradictory, because now he's saying, oh, well, it's not all tied to romantic love, which we know, but you were kind of pushing that to begin with, that that's sort of what men needed to hone in on, a romantic relationship to find a purpose for the family. I'm a little weary of what he was.
You see where I was like, what is this man's argument? I had to listen. I listened to so many clips of that I had to go back and listen to the whole thing. That man is mad at his father. You got to see what he said about his father. That's why I was like, oh, that's why he's doing it. His father was a Scottish immigrant that came here, smashed a lot of women, had a lot of kids, and treated his mama badly. He not yet talking to us. He talking to his daddy.
So, Trigger Mike, to your point, I think he really did leave a lot of things out, and there's things he wouldn't say. But based on the shows you said he was on, we see this is Oprah, and you see this is View. These are woman-dominated spaces, and I think that if he would have approached the situation more how we would do it, he'd never be allowed in those spaces. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I don't agree with everything he said, but I do appreciate the idea that it brought these types of things to women's attention, because we, for the most part, men are not even on their radar, right? They're not typically concerned about or even just know, right? Men's mental health state or anything like that. So it's one of them situations, man. I hate that it has to go like that, but at least it brings some sort of awareness to the women. So it's our job in these spaces to give it out how it's supposed to be given. You know what I'm saying? But when you're in those type of platforms, just to be able to have access to them, I guess they expect a certain amount of etiquette or whatever you want to call it, just to be allowed on there.
I think it's pandering is what you're looking for, Trev. Like he is pandering to the women audience, right? It's a predominant women audience, especially Oprah's audience. But I do also feel that he's trying to encompass the full picture here, right? Like if the main focus should be relationship, family, like you're going to get most of your motivation from having that. But the reality is most men don't have that. So if you don't have that, then your focus should be shifted to something else that can give you that fulfilling feeling, that can give you that feeling of being motivated, like going to the gym, starting a business, focusing on your discipline and whatever aspect that looks like. So, I mean, I understood what he was saying, but you can definitely tell that he's pandering more towards women. But like Treya stated, it's not all necessarily bad, right? Because these type of conversations from a woman's perspective wouldn't be spoken about like this. We wouldn't even think about, the man's perception or what he feels, regardless if it's trauma-based or not, about these type of situations or what men are going through or what they can do to make things better. So I don't think it's all bad, but, it is an underlying motivation here.
Go ahead, Bo.
I think that men are having a hard time admitting things. And it's just disheartening because y'all always want women to take accountability and hold women accountable. But if a man is sitting here telling you something and you just reject what he's saying just because you don't like it or I don't know, or you don't agree with one thing, everything that he's saying is not wrong. There are a lot of useful things in what he's saying for men. He's literally sitting here talking to men. The audience was made up of mostly men when he was talking. He's talking to men. He's saying things that mean something. So, like, I think men are having a hard time being accountable because I sit here and tell y'all stuff every day, but unfortunately, y'all think I'm a feminist, so you reject everything that I say, thinking that I just hate men. And it's unfortunate because I just be trying to lend you a female perspective, but it's always rejected. I'm always the one here understanding men, but men are not understanding me. And I thought that maybe when I heard him speak, I was like, oh, a man is saying it. Because I know men respect dick more than they respect vagina. So I'm like, cool. A man is saying it. So maybe they might listen. Nope, y'all still don't want to listen. Because you think that somehow he's favoring women or he hates his dad. Like, that's crazy. Y'all not taking accountability for anything. It makes me not want to talk. This is something that I have been dealing with since I've been on this panel, that I don't want to talk to y'all because you don't listen. You're not listening to a woman's perspective because you don't like it. If you suck as a man, you just suck. Don't suck is all I'm saying. And this is how you do it. If I'm telling you, if a woman is sitting here minding her business in what you call a resting bitch face, just because you scary, don't mean that I'm mean. So all I'm saying is there are some women that are not these women that you have experienced, but you like to live in discomfort and confusion that you don't want to understand a woman's perspective. So I'm gonna let y'all men do what y'all do. I'm gonna talk to the men that listen to me, but I'm gonna let y'all men do what y'all do and not take accountability, because I can guarantee you I'll never open my legs to none of these men that say some of the things that y'all say.
But real quick, who did you grab that sentiment from? Because you saying that we rejected everything the man said on who did you
No, I
grab
didn't
that
say
sentiment?
what I'm saying is there was a lot of discrediting just because of certain things. It's like nothing, it's almost like nothing was useful.
I don't think so. I think there was a lot useful
I
in
know
what he
you
said.
do.
No, she's talking to me, and I did say it at the beginning several times that I wasn't going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because he is saying things, but Ty hit it on the head. He is pandering. And I told you I listened to the entire interview, and then I was like, why is he doing that? And then he talked about his father and how he wasn't there and how he treated his mom. So he has a female-centric thing. But I do want to respond to something that you said, because I'm thinking about it. It's not even a real rebuttal. You say that men aren't listening. I think one of the things is, and I said this in my dialogue with Ty, you cannot expect men to listen to your perspective as a woman because you believe that we are processing things the same. We do not, in our culture, in our society, even want to give the emotional latitude to understand that men do not process things like this. One of the biggest examples of that is how women keep recommending therapy, psychotherapy to men. That is how I know that, because that works for you, and because women speak 13,000 more words per day than men do, and women love empathy, they love sympathy, they love bonding that way. They think it would be good for us to do so as well. Do you know how I bond? I go to the shooting range with my boys. I always get over a bad day after that. We play some football, we play some basketball. Some dudes lift weights. They need brotherhood, not therapy. But I understand that that is your way of processing your feelings. That's not my way of doing it. And those are the situations where I realize, like, somebody like him is trying to relate to. He was actually, this is my accusation for Scott Galloway in that interview. He was actually making fun of men in a lot of ways. Because this is why I looked up what he actually did, because he made a mistake that a psychotherapist would never make. He made a joke about women being happier when their spouse dies.
Yep.
So every single man, what's the freaking point then? A psychotherapist would never do that. That's why we called him a panderer. That's why we won't listen to him. He's using the circumstance and situation of males to poke fun at males for the sake of a woman. That's what some of these men who are suffering the male loneliness epidemic are going through every day. That's why I tried to poke holes in some of the things that he was saying, because I understand the spirit that he's saying it in is not actually genuine.
Also, the reason why I rejected it is because it's not backed by the data. The data says otherwise. It says otherwise. And the thing is that you have to also think about who he's saying it, because men over the age of 30 are not suffering from a male loneliness epidemic. We're talking about young men. Men who are 35 and older actually are less lonely than women in that age group. We're talking about
That's
the young men.
why I asked you, what do you think
Hold
is
on,
a race thing? I'm sorry. That's all.
So we're talking about a group of men that are probably arguably the most egalitarian group that we've ever known in the history of the planet, who are more willing to do, first of all, I would argue that it started with half of Gen X. Millennials are more egalitarian than Gen X. And then what's the generation after millennials? Gen Z. Gen Z is even more egalitarian than Gen X and millennials and the silent generation. So you're talking about a group of men that are willing to do more in the household, share the workload in the household, and everything under the sun, and they're suffering from loneliness. That does not compute when he reads back the stats saying, oh, well, the women are divorcing these men because the men are carrying their weight in the household. The data even shows you that's not true. Men tend to work outside the household more than women do. That's just a fact. The person who is home more is going to do more homework than a person that's not at home. That's just simply the facts. And this has been ongoing. This study has been going for at least 2 decades now. So of course I'm going to throw out what he said, because it's not even backed by the data. You just talking. What happens is they take talking points from 40 years ago, and then they try to use it today as if that is the situation today. That is not the reason why they're divorcing, is because a man ain't pulling his weight around the house. That's simply not true. Now, I would argue, it's somebody asked, what data did I post? Gender gap in time use in the household. All you gotta do is Google it. What I do believe tends to happen is some people, and Trev, I'm gonna steal this from Trev. People always want to make themselves the hero in their story or the protagonist in their story. So what happens is they go and report, oh, well, why did you leave him? Oh, well, he wasn't doing XYZ for me. He wasn't doing this, but you negate all the things that he did do because he didn't do all the things you expected him to do. But y'all both pulled y'all weight in the household. You don't talk about the fact that he works 60 hours compared to your 40 hours a week. You don't talk about the fact that, hey, you get more sleep than he does. He tends to lose sleep, like, because even in the study, right, they talked about how men have more leisure time. But if you looked at the amount of sleep that women had in comparison to men, you would see that the gap that was filled in, the fact that men lost sleep for their leisure. We stay up later and play the video game. We stay up later and go shooting. We stay up later and do podcasts and shit. And they didn't account for that. They just said, oh, well, men ain't pulling they weight in the household. But we work 5 to 6 more hours a week than the women do. And if we're talking about a household where it's only one sole provider, we know in most cases to take care of a full family of 4 in a household, you're talking about something north of 80 to 90,000, and what they $80 plus thousand a year. And what we do know is that most people who make over that amount work a serious amount of overtime. So
I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, bro. I'm just ranting at this point.
I think. I think what happens. Excuse me, Scott Galloway. I think what happens is that and correct me if I'm wrong, Bo, but women like Bo, from what I heard, and she said it, to where we're still trying to figure out where men are headed in the development of society now, because what was expected of women in yesteryear is no longer expected from women current day. However, that is not the case when it comes to men, because men are still very much expected to do the things that men have always been expected to do. And society has shifted and changed. So we have a group of women who are progressive. We have a group of women who do not subscribe to the traditional nature of what was. And then we also have those same women saying, well, since we're changing, we expect men to also change, but we also want you to stay the same. But you still need to approach us and don't be pussies, because that's what men do. And it becomes a lot of conflation. That's what I see, right? And so I've said this before in this podcast, I'll repeat it. I think that we should be trying to explore what the development of men looks like now and what masculinity looks like now. I think that there are core things that will never change. Men are hardworking. We like to rough play and all these things. But I do think that because of the world we live in now, it requires different elements of manhood, different levels of development of manhood. And I don't know how much we can figure that out tonight or moving forward, but I do see that's the disconnect. It happens quite often, and that's what I wanted to add, and I'll land.
Like, I don't disagree with that. The one thing I will say is I don't never have a problem with approaching a man. I don't. I'll go talk to a man in a minute. Hey, how you doing? My name is, what's your name? The same thing I expect of a man. I will do that, because I understand how difficult it is for a man to approach a woman. And listen, I know how mean women can be. So why not take the pressure off and just approach and show interest? Unfortunately, men are not going to seriously date a woman that's going to approach them. They think that's a turnoff. So, like, it's a catch-22. I've heard that so many times. It's a lot of men that will say that I have heard. I'm sorry, that's what I've heard.
That's
if
not
it's not true, it's not true. I get it, but I've heard men say that. I don't want a woman that's going to approach a man because I think that's masculine. Then you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not as I'm not as quick to do it as I used to be, because I've heard too many men say that. So like now we're at an impasse, because like I want women to stop saying, don't approach me in the gym, don't approach me in the grocery store, I'm there to do blah blah blah. Get you out in public. You know what I'm saying? Let that man approach you, because how else you gonna meet him? You gonna meet him in your house? Where you supposed to meet him? So I don't like when women do that, but I also don't like when men think that it is masculine for a woman to approach them. I'm showing my interest verbally.
But this is perfect, Bo. Thank you. What you're admitting to is that you may be one of the progressive women I'm referring to. And it's happening right now. What I heard Sweeney say, and I heard the other men say, when we're talking about who approaches, rest and bitch face and all that stuff, right? See, women think that men don't observe women up front. Men interact with women, and they interact with sometimes hundreds, maybe sometimes thousands. What I typically see is that most women observe men from afar. Just to even your admission, Bo, you've heard men say certain things, and I'm not saying that has not been said. I can't battle that that's not true in your anecdotal experience, but it's statistically proven that women that approach men typically end up married or at least engaged. This is data-based, because it does remove the pressure of interacting and so on and so forth. This has been proven. But basically, again, that's what I'm speaking to. There is a divide that continues to happen. Our society now does not look like it did 50 years ago. We know that. And it's not just technology. It's just the way things are. So this probably wouldn't have occurred. Let's just say technology existed. Women weren't allowed in men's spaces. We didn't talk to y'all. Y'all didn't really talk to us. So a lot of things are changing, right? And that's what I'm kind of speaking to. women, I believe, with all of their innovations and all of their newness of existing in the world, are expecting men that are still expected to be men the way you guys can digest men being men. Because there are men, and I've heard this too, that there's men that are emotionally intelligent, there's men that are articulate. And when those men come and start talking to certain women, they don't even know how to handle that man, because in their mind, a man's not supposed to talk that much. He's not supposed to be able to, you know, have a conversation. Oh, matter of fact, he's not supposed to be able to combat and go back and forth with a woman if he disagrees with her. And so then you still have some sitting back in a mindset that's very archaic. Like, well, which one do you want? Like, do you want the new version? Do you want the old version? And men are sitting here kind of going like, we're adapting as we know how to, but I think there needs to be some patience on the female side with that adaptation. And
hey y'all, what's going on, man?
Man, turn
What's
your
up,
goddamn
JR?
microphone down, man. What is wrong with you?
Oh, my bad. I didn't know that.
I'm just fucking with you, Jay Prince.
What's going on? Can I say something to this?
Yeah,
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
So I personally think that y'all putting these women on a pedestal, and that's why these women is punking y'all. I never had these issues. Now, shout out to me, Jay Prince for president. Last weekend, I just went on the Pop the Balloon show. And guess what?
Shit.
All my balloons got popped. But guess what happened? The host, the female host and her wife came to my house the next day. I've been chopping up with the host and her wife. They married lesbians. They looked better than all the women that had balloons. So I'm still winning, right? So here's my thing, and they approach me, right? Here's my thing. They keep trying to make us men basically bow down and come to these women. It's almost like applying for a job with a felony. You giving women power when you have to approach them. I know we was programmed to approach them, but what is you really gaining? I think that men lose his power when he got to beg a woman to give him all, basically surrender all his resources. That don't even make sense, natural sense. Why would I beg you to surrender all my assets and resources to you? Who is these women? A lot of these women that talking this cash money stuff is old, fertility shot. They don't even qualify for the conversation that they are speaking on. I don't even know why y'all even listen to what these women are saying. Like,
Nigga,
one
go
thing
change your hairline. Here.
What? I got baby hair.
It's
One thing
down.
I
It's
learned-
down the street. It's
Well,
in
hey,
another.
listen.
It's been called a flight. Go chase your hairline. Shit.
No, one thing I learned about women, right? Since I've been growing up, you never listen to not one word that come out their mouth. Y'all listen to these women and y'all taking a logical point of what they saying. These women are very emotional, so they emotion fluctuates. Even though they could be telling their God honest truth in this moment, but the next moment they might believe a whole new set of rules. Depends on what type of vibe she feeling at that moment. You know how many women have told me that I was ugly? That if this was the last man on earth, I won't never fuck you while I'm fucking them, the shit out of them. This is the last time. All my women said I was ugly. Most of them. Look at Flora. That's my wife.
You
She said I
are
was a
and
baby.
unbathed.
Listen, hold on. This, bro, y'all gotta stop being so nice. Since I've been watching the show, and shout out, this is an interesting topic. They punking y'all because y'all too nice, y'all too caring about their feelings. Women like to get their feelings hurt. Because they need to be told the truth.
Who did they punk?
You got to be a man. Placate into a woman's feelings and pandering. That's why she leveraged that white man over y'all. Bo did. Y'all just discrediting everything that man's. She just punking y'all.
Don't say my name till you brush your teeth.
She know everything in the streets. And I know for a fact when she was coming up, especially when she dealing like niggas like me, we ain't playing none of that. Who you think you is? You better pipe down. You's a old woman. You don't got no fertility. You ain't that damn good looking. Pipe your ass down.
Bitch, I'm fine. I'm
Hey.
finer than a motherfucker.
Is you cool?
You ugly.
Hey, I mean, I know you ain't talking to us, are you?
Yes.
But, I mean, you ain't talking to me.
Well, it's a lot of you men. I call y'all butlers, right?
Yeah.
They don't. Us ghetto niggas don't get treated like this from women.
Nah.
Like, bro,
huh?
Since I got my wife left me last October.
I know she did.
Within a week, I created another baby mama, and I done had 4 different women after she left. You think I'm gonna sit up there and mope over a chick? And she was. I don't care if she was educated, good looking. And this is why.
And somebody let you stick your thing in there.
Hold on. This is why the reason why these women is treating y'all like this because you don't got options. You ain't letting these bitches know that not these. I'm not calling them bitches. I'm saying in general. Y'all not letting these women know that y'all got options. You come to some women that ain't offering you shit, and they sitting up here telling you got all of these requirements. Well, how the fuck you got requirements? I
was just trying to make sure you won't speaking to me, but I think you're right though. I'm
saying in general, these women is on a clearance shelf.
Did one of your baby mamas offer you a toothbrush?
Give you? Okay, here's the thing. Y'all talks about this marriage and relationships. Most of these women is old. The point of a man-made marriage is to raise a family. These women fertility is out the window. They got a casket between their thighs at this age.
Hey, you got a ponytail in the back
really
of your
giving you?
JP.
You got a ponytail in the back of your head.
And the way how Bo talk, I hate to say it.
Because your hairline back here, but I think I see a ponytail in the back. What you doing?
JP, I got one question.
You got hair in the back, but not the front?
I got one question for you, bro.
Go ahead.
How come you couldn't make your wife behave?
How come I couldn't make her behave? Because it was a time limit.
Because he don't take baths.
Right? It was a time limit when
No,
she first came.
Bro.
No.
You don't get to
because this is not the old days when you can slap a chick up.
First of all, no, you don't get to come up here and say, "Oh man, we with these women."
We don't condone. I said this is not the old days when it was legal.
But you like
what?
You don't get brownie points for your wife leaving, and then you have to go find another one. She forced that marriage on me. How could a woman force a marriage on a man that's 23? You said you let your nuts hang. How did she?
Bro, when I first met her, when I first met her online, because I felt I didn't really love her, and what made me feel out of love with her is because the deal that we had when she was in her state, I said I want one baby by her. She said she wanted 4. So when she came down here and I'm fucking her, the bitch ain't getting pregnant. So I fell out of love. At that point, she pointless.
How did she make you marry her?
Ain't no way a man with dingleberries in his ass finna talk to me like that. And you finna hit somebody, you can't even bathe yourself.
Bo,
you got dingleberries hanging from your ass and you think you finna hit a woman? Boy, I'll run you over.
I'm just telling you what it was. So sweet. What it was
everything he just said after my question.
All right, man, we get so far off topic, man. We get so far off topic.
Everything he said after my question negates everything he said before when he got on the panel. You can't say
no, it don't, bro. Because I didn't stay stuck on stupid. Y'all niggas keep trying to live in the past.
Marriage. How does that happen with somebody?
Sweetie.
It's strong.
The only reason why I married her, Sweetie. So the only reason why I felt peer pressure to marry her, everybody telling me, boy, you need a woman in the house with them girls you raising. She was a young woman, 28 years old, educated. She was born in Africa because when she visited me the first time, my uncles were like, boy, you should marry her. She from Africa. Go ahead, lock that down, nephew. And I woo out the band. So, this is my uncle. He one of the gangsters. So I'm sitting up there, I'm getting props from him, so I know it's valid. So my dumb ass listened to his ass, and when she was offering this shit, I said, okay, fuck it. My uncle already solidified. Come on. And so Woo out the bam. We end up getting married. It lasted for 29 days. She was cool at first, but I wanted a baby. So I felt like I told her, I said, I ain't gonna even lie to you, Flora. It seems like I'm keep fucking you. It seems like you're not getting pregnant. I'm gonna cheat on you on my dead mama grave.
29
You can't
days.
get me babies. I'm out of here. And this is how you gotta talk to these women. You gotta let these women know they not the only motherfuckers that will suck your dick, because that's the only thing they offering.
Nobody's
29 days, bro. That's 1 day off of an ovulation cycle. And you
I didn't like how these women were sitting up there
Right,
like
hold on,
really talking y'all.
Jay, hold on. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, are you trolling us?
Yes.
I'm telling you what God love.
Not you.
I am like,
why you tripping, man?
you are trolling us.
Not you. God don't like you.
I literally got all the videos.
Hold on, Jay Friends.
He said educated.
Hey, M. White. I just bro. M.
Woo wop the
Everything he
bam.
said after my question, everything he said before my question. Everything. You cannot say everything you just said after that question and then tell me you was out there laying your pimp hand strong. This woman done forced you into a marriage, then left you because she wouldn't act right. But you just said, man, hey, look, you should be able to get these women to move the way you want them to move, man.
He didn't. Because he got another baby mama on top of the kids that he already got. That was,
and he don't take baths.
I'm so
JP, man, that's wild, man.
Audience, nothing. We just gonna.
We got a silent JP.
Scratch that from the record.
Yeah.
That nigga looks like Oscar Grouch mixed with.
What's that TV show called? Hey, what's that name of that TV show called?
Dirty and Big.
30 Days of Marriage or Marriage Before Sight or something like
90 days. It was 90 days. It was longer than what he was talking about. At least they lasted a little bit longer. Oh my! I felt like he was being trolled.
Can somebody answer my question though?
I'm like,
can somebody answer my question? Do this nigga have a hairline that started in the back of his head and a ponytail at the same time? Do he have a ponytail?
Like right here.
It's
like right here.
I'm talking about.
Hey, look, we ain't gonna do no hairline shaming. Hey, look, we are not gonna do no hairline shaming around here.
I am. Especially for men that don't just go on.
We didn't even have to do that if
we're not doing no hairline shaming around here.
He said a lot though.
From here. Why are we doing
a lot for us not to
like
like
a ponytail?
He was asking to be criticized. That man said educated. She was educated. My uncle said he was never in love, but he fell out.
Trev, am I tripping, bro?
Yeah.
Trev, am I tripping?
No. I was gonna go too, but I don't know. He went away. It was a lot of extra shit. I don't know who specifically he was talking to. I wish I could have got that to see what
he was talking to y'all. He said y'all some week.
Could have been. Jay Prince, you wasn't talking to us, right?
Yes, I was talking to us. And my hairline is right here. So
hold on, Jay Prince.
Shout out to JR.
How much information?
So when Sweeney asked me, yes, that woman was tamed for the time being that I could. But guess what? When she was no longer to be tamed, she was up out of here, on to the next. I'm not finna try to fight for something and woo out the bell. We just like they none like our grandmamas. Well, I'm not soft like my granddaddies. Ain't no simping. Ain't none of this trying to go all out my way to please you. Right? You wanna be equal, this new wave that you wanna go out there and work. I stay home with the kids and sit on my ass and let you go out there and bust your knuckles. If we driving in the Barry go dead, you go out there and fix it. You gotta play this game that they playing. Because it seems like I remember the time where women used to beg us niggas to be in a relationship. Now y'all begging these women. Y'all sitting up here begging these women.
You said you talking about us specifically, right? You said you was talking about us.
I'm not gonna beg no chick to love me. Is you cool?
Jay Prince. You said you were talking about us specifically, right? So I'm trying to figure out how much information do you have on us specifically to make the assessment that you did as far as how our engagement with our personal women is.
I'm going off because although this is the internet, but the internet projects who you naturally are. So when these women, by the way these women were speaking, y'all let them get away with it, and nobody never. At some point, a man. I know that y'all professional and woo out the bam. I don't have that professionalism. I like to just speak from the gut. I don't script nothing and woo out the bam. I'm expressing how these women making me feel. So I feel like they need to get told exactly like how they making me feel. So I was mad at y'all because I feel like y'all weren't even telling these women what's the real. Y'all kept trying to baby them. And they were just manipulating y'all like they was 3 years old. These
What are
women
you
talking like
basing this
10.
on?
Manipulating us. All right. So
What are you
what I'm saying,
basing
man,
I
this
want him to
on?
talk to me.
The
yeah,
conversation
Which
that I was listening to the
one of us
conversation.
changed
You
our
basing
mind based on something that the women said on the panel?
Yeah.
Which
I
one
feel
of
like
us
Oh,
changed
that's
our
I feel
mind?
like
fair,
y'all
though.
should have came a little bit
Here's
more
the
hard.
here's the problem, Jay Prince.
Oh, you want them to hit us?
Jay Prince, as far as we're concerned, you have the least amount of success than everybody, right? As far as what the goal is. So what you're saying is we are worse off, but every man on the panel has greater success with women that are concerned. Nobody has, I mean, I don't know. I don't think anybody on the panel has several baby moms or no shit like that. And probably
That means I'm
currently
the more
married and
successful
everything.
one.
No, it doesn't.
I think a man
Cause
that
you
was
stuck your dirty
one
dick in
woman.
somebody. Shut up.
No,
No,
hold on.
I
Let
want
me
to see
say
him
this.
explain this.
Let me say this to Trev
You
right quick.
that's
I
what.
didn't say this to Trev
Continue.
right quick.
I
It
love.
stank too.
I think y'all black men been misled. I think the
Jay
man.
Prince, get her in line,
Come on,
man.
can you let me?
She
Hold on, y'all.
overtalking
Hold
Let,
on.
you.
hold on,
Let
y'all.
him
Let
finish.
Mr.
Get
Trev
in
go
line,
back
Jay
at his
Prince.
ass.
So can me and Trev have this conversation, bro?
Show us how it's done. No,
Okay, I'm trying to
Hey, look,
respond to him. You not
I
allowing me.
understand that both interrupting you and stuff.
Hold on,
man.
Sweetie. Hold
I'm
up,
done.
hold on, Sweetie. Hold on 1 second. I want to hash this out real quick.
So I think that black men, you have been misled. A lot of y'all think the most masculine man is the man that got the education, got the bank account, who out the bam. I think the man, like my daddy, he's the most masculine man. He got a high sperm count and 14 kids. The man with the most kids is the most masculine because it shows how many women is willing to give them the ultimate femininity that a woman can offer a man, and that's lay on her back. The ultimate submission that a woman can give you is to be walking around with your baby and willing to risk her life on that birthing table. And he had all of these baby mamas just like I'm starting to. I think that I'm the successful man. I think it's a coward. You's a coward man if you want to stay there with one woman your whole life. That's a coward. You're not getting no babies by these women. You like, bro, how can you be able to be fruitful? Y'all guys said to be fruitful, meaning have sex and multiply. One woman can't multiply you many as much. You're gonna need
this
other
is the
women.
easiest
Hold
period
on,
of
hold
time
on,
to
hold
get
on,
women
hold on,
to
I'll
hold on,
get
hold on,
my
hold on, hold on.
shit surgically
I'm
closed before I
gonna
give it up
respond.
to
I'm gonna
somebody like
respond.
you.
I'm gonna respond to
I
that.
want all these women.
So hold on, Jay Prince, right? I'm not here to knock anybody who is with the polygamy shit. That's one thing, but I will say I think it's actually cowardly to have several baby mothers and not taking care of your children, to have them in a whole bunch of different households. I think that's cowardly to not be a father to your children. That's cowardly. I think it would be cowardly for you to sit there and watch a woman struggle changing any part of the car while you just sit there and chill out. That's weird shit to me, to be honest. Like
But
that's not what
Trev, they sit
that's
up
not what
here.
masculinity looks like. That's
But
not what
Trev, you
masculinity
keep
looks
holding
like.
on to the traditional man, but these women is telling you that they not gonna be the traditional woman for you. So you trying to be this big brave
That's not what they
traditional
telling me.
granddaddy, and these
That's
women
not what
and
they
these
telling me.
women
Jay
saying
Prince,
that
I'm telling you,
they giving you a
our
hard time even with
experiences.
your mindset.
So Jay Prince, I feel like our experiences are very different, right? One, we have to look at what the quality of women that we're dealing with as well.
They all the
That's
same.
another thing. Wrong. If you think that, then I'm
You ain't
not
got no
going
quality
to
hoes.
believe anything. You can't be part of the
They all is
conversation if that's your
hoes, bro.
standpoint.
You ain't got
Bro,
no
if that's your
quality hoes.
standpoint, you can't be part of the conversation. If you were going to tell me that these women are a monolith, you're out of your mind. You got to take a step back.
Can I substantiate why I believe that?
You can
So
try, but
naturally
you
they are
can't
different,
possibly
right?
believe
They
that.
are different. They own individual. But in nature, they the same. Meaning that they want the same type, they want to feel the same way from a man. They want to have the same, they want the same attention, right? This is the reason why most of these, look, she come out here with her bra strap. She want people to look at her chest. This is how she coming up here. She want to be seen from all of them do the same thing, bro. The difference is that men place these standards on women that women did not sign up for. And this is the reason why these women of today is saying that they're not trying to be grandmamas, because grandma used to believe in that stuff based on the Bible. But now that these women have put that Bible down, they ain't really into that church no more. These standards that y'all have put onto women is no longer working. This is why y'all upset. Because now these women saying, they basically telling you that the reason why they don't want marriage because they want to be a hoe. These women have fantasies of multiple men. Of course, they're not going to come and tell you that, because you're going to call them whores, you're going to shame them, and who out the bed. But it's a thing called no slut shaming, right? The reason why they get in their own bag so they can do what they want to do. They're not trying to be at home in a house waiting on you all damn day. No, they trying to go outside. Most of these women don't know how to cook, clean, or nothing. They say they will hire a nanny to do that, a maid to do that. So they is telling you not read between the lines, because you keep trying to live in this old existence. You in love with the old thought of marriages when your dad, your mom was cool and what the bam. That's not what's happening now. Them days is gone. If it wasn't, we won't be having these conversations. Because clearly
we're not attached to the nostalgia of it, right? Many of us, particularly on this panel, are like really living the lives that we desire to live and don't really have women problems. Just because I may have empathy for men and may represent men because I realize that there are issues, doesn't mean that that's what's going on in our personal lives. So we have to take the time to actually separate that, right? I do have empathy for other men, and that's why I bring up these issues. It's not a direct representation of what's going on. It's actually the opposite as far as how we are living our lives. Have you ever been
cheated on before?
Sure. Back in the day.
So you've been cheated on before?
Decades ago. Yeah, it happened. Yeah.
How you know you're not being cheated on now?
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I don't live my life. I don't live my life thinking about that. And you would think so because you have a virtuous woman. I mean, listen, that's not something that I lose sleep over. It's not something I will ever lose sleep over. That's not even on my radar. It seems like you're being extremely pessimistic about it. And I understand. I'm not even going to say that there are more women than not who are virtuous. We're not here to say that. We're here to parse out these issues. We want to come to some type of resolution. We realize that there's an issue, and I don't think any of us are trying to bow down to women. That's not anything we would ever do. We're just having a civil discourse right now. That doesn't mean that we're going to go out and about and then just start kneeling for women that we don't know. That's not how it goes, man. We just having a discourse right now. That's all that is. There are people who are listening. We're trying to come to some civil resolutions. That's it.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot of people that's learning from y'all, right? It's a lot of people that's taking y'all serious, right? Because y'all look like serious people, right? Y'all are the butlers, y'all the educated ones, y'all. So a lot of people take what y'all say kind of serious, right? They know I ain't shit. I've been told them that. But my life is not like this, right? Anytime you got to convince a woman to love you and they giving y'all are the example of the good guys, educated, got a bank account, clean cut, and woo out the band, right? And yet, when you talking to these women, they looking at you. They treating y'all. They treating y'all mindset. Put it like that. So they kind of treating y'all. And I'm looking like, bro, I'm dealing with women every day. I do not get talked to like this at all. If a woman
just had 3 women on the panel talk to you crazy.
They just trash you way more than they trash us, bro.
Just happened.
So this is why the internet is a bad representation of this shit.
Just happened.
Hold on. The only barrier, I promise you right now, well, nobody on this panel. I've had numerous instances where I have met I've met women that have talked to me on the internet. They changed their whole persona, bro. This screen gives people false identities. They don't talk to us like this. My wife don't talk to me like this. right? So this is a false representation of talking to us any kind of way. This gives women bravado. The fact that there's a screen between them and niggas, they don't talk to us like this in public. Are you crazy? Bo would never say this, some of this shit. Like, nigga, this bullshit.
Shit.
No, they feminine as hell. They,
I need you to know if you make me respond that way, I will.
Bro, this is all an act. And I will say this because there's one thing that you
I ain't
said,
no pussy ass nigga.
JP, and this whole thing about procreation and the most masculine man procreates. The only difference between us and baboons is that we are able to tone down our nature for what is socially better. All right. I could have any woman you could get, I could get twice. I want to bet. But there is not a benefit for me splitting my resources up 20 different ways. I made my household the exact way I wanted to make it. All right. So you usually tout raising your kids on government assistance. Yes.
I love being on welfare.
Exactly. We not the same, bro. I take care of my children with my own sweat, my own work, right? I put money in their pocket, right? So this is not even to like stun on you. What I'm saying is you're not even actually using a measurement of real nature. You getting government help to help take care of the kids that you're making. So if you was out here, if you slaving,
I'm not like my granddaddy
to take care of your kids by yourself, I would be like, salute to you, dog. But you're just using a false narrative to try to perpetuate this masculinity thing, and it's not real, bro.
You are not getting money back. Get out of my way. I have to scam more people. Thank you.
Gentlemen.
I
don't remember.
Hold on. I think Bo had a hand up in the back though.
Long time ago.
Hold on, Bo. Let me just get this out real quick.
And in the front.
Real quick. Let me just get this out real quick.
Go ahead, Sweeney. Jesus.
Here's the bullshit. Fuck all of that. Bo didn't call neither one of us out our name on this panel. She ain't roast us. She ain't said shit about our hairline, facial features, none of that. As soon as you got up here, as soon as you, Jay Prince, got up here, you was met with immediate disrespect. She roasted your hair. Like, how can you sit here and tell us, man, y'all letting these women get up there? Not one of them said anything about us.
She like my hair. She like my style. She like my smiles. Hey, that's sex talk, though. I guarantee you in the streets, y'all, because you play safe. That's why you didn't get roasted.
Okay.
I trigger her emotions.
Hey, shut your ass up because I said that I wanted to talk. You're gonna have to shut up. Now, hello.
Anytime you can connect with a woman's emotions, you got her.
Thing. Jay, shut the fuck up.
What up?
There is okay. So here I'm gonna say something sensible first before I go in on you. Number one,
let me give me a cigarette.
Oh God! And you know what? You look like somebody that like. Never mind. So stop sucking on stuff because that's not good for you. Now, here's the thing. If in fact you are getting the same response from women that leads you to believe that all women are the same, baby, it's you. And so that's the sensible thing that I'm going to say. Now, this is what I'm going to say. There is absolutely no way that I'm going to let a man that looks like a balled up nut rag talk to me the way you talk about women. There is absolutely no way that you looking like you do and acting like you do are going to say that you're going to raise your hand to a woman. Sir, you need to be down on your knees begging a woman.
Did she really hear what I said?
So shut your ass up because I was quiet while you was talking in your plaque teeth. So here's the thing. You do not respect women. You think that you should be able to put your hands on women without repercussions. I got a cold piece of steel for men like you. I really need you to understand that you need to be begging women for their mercy because you look like a balled up nut rag, a dirty one at that. You cannot talk about women looking like that. You cannot talk about women acting the way you do. You speak like you look, and that is not, you got to pick a struggle, baby. You can't talk like you look. you need to be nicer in your tone and in your verbiage. Because if you talking the way you look, I understand why women react to you the way they do. That lady was probably on birth control, which is the reason why she never had a baby by you. She probably lied to you to get over here and took birth control the whole time because she didn't want to have your baby. And I don't blame her.
You still have my dick
I
in her
would
mouth.
shut your stupid ass up.
You have
I
my dick
would
in her
get
mouth.
my shit
In her
surgically
butt.
surgically sewn closed before I would ever procreate with someone like you. The world would end waiting on me to procreate with somebody that look and act like you.
Can I say something, JR?
Please don't.
JR, when I met my wife, we was on one of your fellows. He been on your channel before. And she came up there just like it was a panel like this. Me and a bunch of conservative men. And this woman came up here calling us bandits. She said I was one of the biggest bandits, something like what Bo doing. And I told her, like I'm telling Bo, you call me a bandit, me and my cousins bandits, we're gonna be dead smacking your butt. 3 months later, I ended dead smacking her butt. So my thing is, ma'am, listen. I know that you just trying to put on a show. Ma'am, listen. You look old.
No, I'm not. Your mama looks old. Okay.
She is old.
I know she is.
I guarantee you ain't
You gave birth
reproducing.
to a balled up nut rag.
Hold on, I did not talk when you was talking.
You did.
I kept quiet though, didn't I?
No, you didn't, dummy.
So just apply the same respect. So
I am.
I'm quite sure you ain't reproducing no more. That's
Dummy.
another big strike.
I can't.
Your fertility already done took you off the map, so you don't qualify for a lot of men.
Your mothers don't qualify for a lot of men.
Because a bum could get right. The bum could get rich. If he want kids, you can't provide that. So you need to stop talking like you got all of these resources, like you still value. Ma'am, you're not in your 20s no more. You need to chill out. You ain't fine wine no more. Your titties is between your legs. Hold on. I'm looking at your chest now, and I guarantee you, every time you put on your belt, you hit your titties. Every time you buckle, you snap your titties between the buckle of your belt. Your titties sagging.
You don't worry about.
I guarantee you.
Don't worry about these over here.
You don't got no ass.
You don't.
Everybody that talks like that never have an ass. So you not the fine wine no more, ma'am. You need to chill out.
Those who have seen me in person, do I have a flat ass? I do not.
Well, let me see it. Stand up.
Fuck no. Hell no. Ew.
You know you want to.
No, I do not.
All I'm saying is, ma'am, you need to humble yourself because you ain't no prize no more. You done aged out. You done aged out to be having all of these requirements and talking all of this stuff. And I ain't come up here to dish y'all. I just came up here because I had something to say to get off my chest.
You don't have shit to say. Chase your hairline.
My biggest thing is to go back to the topic.
Chase your hairline down the street, baby.
To go back to the topic. All I'm saying is, I hate to see black men get done this way. And all I'm saying is, since when black men got to beg women to be in a relationship? Usually we players. We usually you need to be like my daddy. Because I'd rather be like my daddy hopping from chick to chick than it be like, y'all, please, y'all got to marry me. You got to pick up a broom. And these women said, no, y'all begging these women for a smile. Is you cool? Y'all begging them for a smile. Brother, you done lost your damn mind. You think I'm gonna beg you chick for the smile?
I ain't even gonna lie, man. You making good points, man. You making good points. Because I ain't gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater, man. You making good points, but that's also not who we are. Like, I
stop perpetuating that
on this panel, listening to men for a lot of these men.
I had to redeem us black men coming up here. Thank you.
A lot of us are actually.
AJ, you gotta shut the mic, bro.
Yeah, if I'll tell you like the reason why I will disagree with you, it's a lot safer to be me than you. and I'm just enough to know that, bro. You know what I mean? It's a lot safer, bro. I keep a lot of my resources being me. Ain't no chick ever hit me up for child support. I guarantee you that. So, maybe it's the system. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is the system, but I got full control. I'm obsessed with control, which is why I'm married. Ain't no chick ever gonna come to my house and tell me what the hell I'm doing with my own seed, with the fruit of my own loins. I dictate everything that go on with them, right? And then I was told in order to have that type of control, you got to marry the woman. So I did that. So maybe I am just more obedient than you, but I guarantee you one thing: I got more control over my situation than you.
I disagree. Now, Trigger Mike, guess what type of woman I pick? See, right now you got control. Until them you served with those divorce papers. It's gonna be a brand new bitch that you never met, even though you've been with her for 20 years. They changed in divorce courts, right? So you got your kids, right? Now you got control. Hold on, I'm saying in general. Now you got control, but in a divorce court, them kids that you used to waking up and seeing every day, gonna be with her. And this is why I purposely, intentionally chose the women that either was at the government office, at the homeless shelter, the kids always in my house. No, listen, because this is something you don't know. This is how I was able to obtain all of my kids full custody. I've been raising them by myself for 10 years.
These type of women,
multiple baby mamas, right? Because essentially what y'all would call the trash baby mama turned out to be the good baby mama, because I don't care about them. My kids in the bed. When the teachers call, they call and talk to their daddy. I'm the only black man with multiple baby mamas, and the kids, the siblings, is more closer to their daddy side than their own mama side. You never hear that. Usually the kids on the mama side be more closer than the daddy kids. Well, my kids is more closer to each other than they own mama kids, right? So that's one. So with all my baby mamas, I got full custody. Why? Because I chose the ones that didn't give a damn about raising no kids.
Oh my God!
Because I know at the end of the day, with the race that y'all saying in marriages, women are leaving marriages at 70% rate. Why would I go out there and choose a good woman that got all of these benefits, educated, money in the bank, and woo out the band, right? And I married this chick, and I know she could just leave this marriage and not only take all of my little resources, but she's gonna take my kids too. So them women essentially turn out to be horrible women. So yes, I appreciate the women that I chose, because I'm not crying like Tyrese.
You lost me at homeless shelter, bro.
All right, Jay. Hey, I appreciate you coming up, man. About to ready to close out, though, man.
Those women built like Gru.
Appreciate you, sir.
I'm Jay Prince, for president of United Negro Nation of the Black House, and I approve this message.
We'll never vote for you.
Your baby mamas are built like lunch ladies.
Oh my God! Oh,
they built like Gru.
He said she's gonna take all his resources. His aid? What is he talking about?
I get him out of homeless shelter.
That was fun.
Hey. This is why y'all need to create organizations and stuff. That's the future.
Nope, can't help him.
Trigger, that's the future.
He not invited.
That's so the man that got the kids. You said get the kids to the man. That's the man, right?
Nope. Ty, hold on now, Ty. Let me tell you why it's smarter that we don't. And I think we're seeing it right now. It's the great divide. Okay. There's some niggas you just can't help, and you just met one. The best thing you could do for you and yours is to separate. I keep telling people that the black people on earth are the only people that think that everybody need to be unified. You got to divide from some people. Okay. That will poison. That shit we just heard will poison a lot of minds. Would you leave your children alone with him?
No.
Yes or no?
Hold on. Hey, JR, you got that? Do you got that clip of Jay Prince arguing with that one chick on that Sunday show?
Why were you looking at a girl like that on the live with Pod in white? How was I looking at her? I don't know. I make a lot of facial expressions. I don't know.
That chick ain't had no teeth. Hey, NY, you don't remember that Sunday show when Jay Prince was going back and forth with that one chick, and like they started low key flirting with each other.
That's who he married. She ain't had no teeth.
Man, that chick ain't had no teeth. I swear to, hey, I swear to God, she was off that goddamn. She was off some straight ENJ.
I want to see this episode of him in the Pop the Balloon show. Like we got to find that clip.
You know, it was one of them back rooms.
It had to be like a redo because Arlette's not gay. She's married to a man.
Yeah,
so
it
had to be
was
some type of bootleg Pop the Balloon.
Yeah, he said they were lesbians, and then he said he won because they came to hang out with him. So lost.
I don't believe that for one bit.
Well, he was on the show. I saw the clip.
I'm still.
I believe it. I just know it wasn't the original one.
He almost didn't make it through the door for the balloon spot. That was hilarious.
Man, I'm about to find
that smell probably hit them before he did.
No, the hairline, they couldn't see it, you know, and then they popped.
Them Queen Latifah braids. Them straight backs. Terrible.
Did he also not have eyebrows? Nobody's talking about the eyebrows. Or were they just really like I could not
man
see
was
his
met
eyebrows.
with immediate disrespect. Like on arrival.
Jay Prince needs therapy. I know
I
earlier
really look to do that to him.
It don't need therapy, but Jay Prince needs therapy. Like that man needs therapy.
He needs something.
Wow.
I don't think therapy gonna help. True. I don't know what he needs.
No, he need to continue to deal with women in that realm. Just let them rock. Like Trigger Mike just said, man. You just gotta separate. Let him deal with them type of female. There's actually women for him, and
He needs to stop procreating. And then he
Probably.
raised girls with that mindset. Did y'all hear this? JI, he was trolling us. That was for clickbait. That was for clickbait.
Nah, Jay Prince really like that. He's very consistent. I'll give him that. He's consistent. He don't come on no other way. That's how he get down.
Man, I gotta find that Sunday episode, man. That chick was chewing her gums, man. Arguing with
Oh no.
Like
Yeah. You say let him? Is you good?
All talking is relevancy. Real shit.
That's what I'm trying to
was this the episode?
No, this wasn't the episode.
Who popped up?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what's going on, man. This is from his page. It's like it's all over the place. I don't know what's going on. Anyhow, let me get to these super chats right quick. Felicia the Good Doctor 499, male fertility is 50% of infertility issues. This is trash. Mr. God, give me $2. Y'all really need to watch Patrice O'Neal. Lacey, $2. Was I drinking when he said educated?
No.
Chase Speed, $2, 29 days later, eggs ain't cooking. What do we know? Podcast, $5. JP diminished panel with the WAP the bam. Lacey, $2. Please let JP tell his perspective. Mo, I'm down. And say you want $2. Miss Pearl laughs at so much, even she not laughing. Lacey again, $2. RBF is now justified. LOL. Same one, $2. Black man spirit creating more than one monster. JP equals devil. It ain't $2. JP is telling you guys the truth. It's not personal. I really don't care. $22, $2. JP, be careful. Bo bigger than you. Duke, Ty from the Shy. Why were you looking at an old girl like that on a live podcast with M. White? Must be talking about Ali. AC $2. My wife and I want to flow over here. LOL. OMG. And lastly, saying $1 $2. A therapist would need therapy after true. Laughing my ass. I want to thank everybody that has contributed to the platform. Any last words? Anything for the chat?
I don't think we can follow.
Lock the man.
Don't follow. Don't follow what you just heard from bro. You do not.
And I
Tonight was
definitely might be bigger than
entertaining.
JP. Like I may be taller than him for sure. He is short nigga.
All right, y'all hold tight real quick for the back chat. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Make sure y'all follow everybody on the panel. Look and see what they got going on. Support their YouTube channels, Instagrams, classes, ranges, whatever they got going on. Let's just make sure y'all support them the same way y'all support me here. And we are out.